is not unheard of.
And I do want to talk about ice because that is something that a lot of people don't realize just kind of how impactful that can be. You're talking about a little bit of ice and it can have a huge impact, right?
Yeah, well, ice is not as visual as snow is. So a lot of times, if you have heavy snowfall on the ground, people may drive slower or they may not. But with ice, you don't necessarily see it right away, and then you can, all of a sudden, it doesn't take a lot of ice to start to skid. You can get a hundredth of an inch, 200th of an inch of ice, and it might be as damaging with respect to driving as a heavier accumulation. So yeah, ice is not as well seen visually, but it can still have huge impacts.
Yeah, and it's important to note that that black ice, many of us who have driven over it know the impacts that you can have if you are driving over that. So, where does this storm head next? After it does impact these millions of people, does it just kind of move out? How does this all work?
Yeah, it will be moving from west to east. So the impacts will be developing today across the plains and then pressing eastward towards the Ohio Valley and then into the eastern United States, specifically the mid-Atlantic region by Monday. And then it moves offshore. And then in the wake of it, it's pretty cold across the country. We're in a
It's
very
cold.
cold weather pattern, so it's not going to be much melting. So the impacts, they're going to be pretty impactful over the next few days, but the impacts will continue after the event is over, and especially as we go into the beginning of the next work week. So a lot of cleanup to be done, or there will be a lot of cleanup that has to be done from this storm as we get over the next several days.
One thing that's interesting is
All right, so the impact will be impactful. So I just wanted to jump on today. It's a snow day, so the kids are home, the wife is home, DWC is at the house, and I said, you know what? I really wanted to actually talk about what's going on in California. Wow, that is so heartbreaking to see those fires just running amok across the Sunshine State, right? But woke up this morning, there's snow outside. So I said, hey, we'll talk about the snow here in Georgia, why my beard is looking like this. We'll talk about the snowstorm in Georgia. And because I think it's fun actually. And then we might jump over to the West Coast. But that's gonna be a very serious conversation because man, that devastation is cataclysmic. It is really sad to see just how bad that storm is in California for sure. So definitely, I actually have friends who are negatively impacted, family members and such like that are going on have lost homes already. Uh, and one is actually out of town and doesn't know if his home has been lost yet. I Let's see, today's Saturday. He might be back by now because that was Thursday. He might be home by now, but he was out of town. He was in New York. So doesn't even know. So yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that. I want to hear what your thoughts are. There's a lot of video evidence of just the sheer devastation in California, but we can have a little bit of fun. I really wish that I could play the Saturday Night Live skit that they made fun of Georgia during the last really big snowstorm that we had several years back and how they skewered us so bad. But let me pull this in real quick and we'll look at that. And I'll be right back. Let's go. Let's do it like this.
Right now, a brutal winter storm is bringing heavy snow and freezing rain to the south and central U.S. This video next to me is from Texas, and you see the roads there have just been covered, making things slick and dangerous. Winter storm warnings stretch all the way from Texas to North and South Carolina. That's the close-up look, but we want to show you the weather radar to give you a sense of just how big this system is.
Yikes.
As much as 8 inches of snow could fall across the south through tomorrow. Our Skylar Henry is in Atlanta, where there's now a state of emergency in place.
Hey there, good morning. As snow comes down here in metro Atlanta, an Arctic blast is sending parts of the south into a state of emergency with winter storm warnings spanning from parts of Texas to the Carolinas. Just Thursday, we saw freezing rain, snow, sleet, all slammed down onto parts of Texas, forcing more than 1,500 flights at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport to either be delayed or canceled. In Arkansas, we also saw some winter weather advisories as well, even in Oklahoma. And many people here in the state of Georgia say that they are concerned about what happened back in 2014 in terms of that major winter storm that shut down several parts of interstates around the metro Atlanta area, as well as into North Georgia. We have spoken with Department of Transportation officials here in the state who say that they have been preparing for this for days with brine and salt mixtures on the roadways to try to make sure that everyone who is traveling on the roadways are as safe as possible. But they are urging people, if you do not have to travel in these conditions, to stay at home, because they say that it will be like this for at least the next 24 hours. And they say that they will be working around the clock to make sure that everyone is as safe as possible. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Atlanta. Back to you.
Skylar, thank you for that.
Of course, we got a little bit of snow last night, but once again, the main event is not here. Instead, in parts that don't often see a lot of snow. Let's get over to Cody Matz with a look at the snow and the ice in some parts of the South. Good morning.
Yeah, let me real quick. Shout out to Texas. Texas, we need to have a conversation. Why do y'all have worse weather than like some northern states, Texas? We need to talk. Are you going through a crisis? What's happening with you, Texas? I mean, there have been years when you had more snow than like Chicago has. Like, what's going on, Texas? Come on, talk to us, Texas. What's going on with you? My goodness, man. I did not think that was going to be Texas. They were showing all the wow. My brother lives there. I'm about to give him a shout. Shout out to some other content creators that live in Texas as well. All Things Theology. Chris lives out there. Smart Christian Corey lives out there. There's some other ones as well. But Chad Jackson lives in Texas. Chad O. Jackson. What's going on with y'all state, man? First of all, your state is bigger than some third world countries, for crying out loud, man. You can't drive 24 hours and be in the same state. That's just insane. But Texas, what's going on with y'all? What's happening? All right. I just thought this would be a good little start. We got snow here in Georgia. That's crazy. And actually looks pretty good. Like, it looks like a much better storm than I thought it would be. So I'm expecting, we might have a little accumulation up in here. But I just thought it was fun. Let's finish this up. What's going on? Fox News. What we got? I like it like this. Let's go.
Yeah, good morning. It's been a cold and snowy week for many parts of the central and sections of the southern U.S., and now they're getting more. More than 100 million people are expecting some sort of accumulating wintry precipitation over the next couple of days. This time around, though, it's impacting areas even farther south than the last time to coat some spots that only see wintry weather every few years. Happening right now. This is a live look in Memphis, Tennessee. This is actually Germantown. That's the eastern suburb of Memphis. Wow. Heavy snow falling there. A couple of folks on the roads. 4 inches already in the city of Memphis. They could double that number before it winds down later on this afternoon. Some impressive snows in parts of the deep south. Meanwhile, the winter storm, though, starting in Texas yesterday, dropping up to a foot of snow in Amarillo. Now, you're looking at video, though. Main Street in downtown Dallas, where the snow wrapped up overnight. Couple inches of snow and sleet in downtown Dallas, but some of the northern suburbs receiving 4 or 5 inches of snow. 2,000 flights roughly canceled in and out of Dallas yesterday. Another 500 already canceled today. Well, the city of Atlanta preparing for that storm as well, with some hefty sleet, some snow, and then some freezing rain expected for a lot of today. Mayor Andre Dickens says crews began pre-treating roads yesterday. Of course, you remember 11 years ago. Remember this? Often referred to as Snowmageddon. Yep, thousands of folks were trapped in their cars for several days as a couple inches of snow left the roads impassable. City officials say they never want that to happen again. So over the next couple of days, they plan to lay 20,000 gallons of brine and 5,500 tons of salt. Now, flight cancellations will impact many across the country in the days ahead, with already more than 2,000 additional flights canceled today. Here's a live look at MSP Airport as folks are walking in the door. Lines are forming. According to Delta Airlines, because of this winter storm, travel to parts of the U.S. could be affected until Wednesday of next week.
Well, yeah, you think if Atlanta gets hit,
the world is ending.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Well, and we kind of joke about it here. Oh, only a couple of inches, but they just truly do not have the infrastructure. They don't have the equipment. They don't have. So it does.
The mayor was talking about the equipment. They have 50 pieces of equipment. for the entire city of Atlanta.
Right, and you think Memphis probably has less, fewer.
So, and you would think the Twin Cities probably 10 times that, 500 pieces.
Sure,
So,
yikes. All right, well, we'll keep an eye on it.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so shout out.
Jeremy Nelson is tracking that winter storm.
All right, I just wanted to have like a cool beginning to this. I do want to jump over there to California, man. That stuff going on in Cali is wild. But they love picking on us, man. We deserve it though. I really wish I could play that Saturday Night Live skit because it is so worth it. If you look up Saturday Night Live, it was about 11 years ago. They skewered Georgia and we deserved it. Oh, it was the best. It was the best. It was such a great commentary on how we responded 11 years ago. And it's true, we still probably don't have that much equipment because we don't ever have it. I mean, this is our first snow event in 3 years. And the last one was just an ice storm. So that was like, matter of fact, I take that back. I think it's the first one since 2020. Yeah, it might be even longer than that. So we don't have them. We have them like usually every 3 years, some form of, every 4 years. So we just don't have it, and therefore we don't prepare for them. And you never know what it is. Sometimes it's like a black ice storm. I remember one year it was just this rainstorm that came through and it froze and all the streets were iced over and it was a horrible mess. Then one year it's a snowstorm with no ice. So it's just craziness. So it's hard to really prepare for all of the shenanigans and hijinks that Georgia's going to unleash on you. But yeah, prayerfully everybody will stay safe. Prayerfully, if you are impacted by the snowstorm, you are at home with your loved ones. You got your kids over here cleaning the kitchen, watching musicals. I can't believe them. I had to bring Chief Executive Second Born in because she had a very funny take on why parents and kids don't really like jive perfectly, and it was actually spot on the money. And I was like, that's exactly what the problem is. She had just told me right before I hit live, so I had to wait and have her come back in and explain it. But it was really funny how she explained it. I was like, yeah, that's the problem. That is exactly the problem. You hit the nail on the head, kiddo. But let's look at this California thing now. So hopefully everybody's cold, or if you're here in Georgia, hopefully you're warm in this cool situation, because we're gonna go over here to California. And my gosh, oh my goodness. All right, so the news outlet that I've been using, Live Now, Fox, they have like this commercial break thing, and they're doing a commercial break. So let me bring it on just so we can make sure we can see it. Looks good. All right, they're on a commercial break now. They usually do a 2-minute commercial break. They're almost done. But yo, this thing is, I just want to get an update on this. This is crazy.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox. We are going to pause for a moment on our coverage of the California wildfires to bring you this breaking news. President-elect Donald Trump has been sentenced to an unconditional discharge in relation to his hush money case. Here's the latest of what we know breaking right now. President-elect Donald Trump formally sentenced today, moments ago, in that case, but the judge declined to impose any punishment. The outcome cements Trump's conviction while freeing him to return to the White House unencumbered by the threat of a jail term or a fine. And again, Trump was charged with 34 felonies. He was put on trial for almost 2 months and convicted on every count. Yet the legal detour didn't hurt him, with voters who elected him to a second term. So moments ago, Manhattan Judge Juan Merchan, he could have sentenced Trump to 4 years in prison, but instead he chose a sentence that sidestepped constitutional issues by effectively ending the case, but assuring that Trump will become the first person convicted of a felony to assume the presidency. Trump has said his criminal trial and conviction has, quote, been a very terrible experience, and insisted he committed no crime as he appeared virtually moments ago to be sentenced. Again, if you are just joining us here on Live Now from Fox for this breaking news update, we do know that Manhattan Judge Juan Merchan, he has sentenced President-elect Donald Trump to unconditional discharge, and Fox News is reporting what that means. That means no prison, no probation, no conditions for President-elect Donald Trump. He is now set to return to the White House unencumbered by the threat of a jail term or a fine. So again, if you are just joining us here on Live Now from Fox, that is the latest of what we know with all of this breaking as of right now. And again, we have not heard from President-elect Donald Trump after this just came out here. But again, what we did know after he appeared virtually moments ago in court, he said that it has, quote, been a very terrible experience. And once again, insisting he committed no crime in all of this. So we'll bring you the latest here on Live Now from Fox if we do hear anything else. But as of right now, we are going to pivot back to our Fox LA coverage of the ongoing devastating wildfires out in California. Our Fox LA team does appear to be back from a commercial break, so I am going to head out there now.
It's impossible to explain the situation to her because she's wondering where is her house.
Wow.
Y ahora hay un evento increíble con personas con agua, todo. ¿Y cuáles son sus pensamientos sobre el evento? I'm asking him his thoughts on this gathering here.
Damos gracias a Dios por toda la ayuda que nos están brindando. Gracias a las personas, que Dios se lo multiplique porque no hay palabras. Mucha ayuda a todos los que están brindando. Gracias a Dios.
So he's saying he's thanking God, he's thanking all the people here. You know, it's just so great to have something like this. Y no tienes la oportunidad de regresar.
Shout out to the black woman speaking Spanish.
No es solo ceniza.
Shout out.
Como dice la Biblia, polvo eres, polvo te convertirás. No hay nada. No hay nada.
No, he has not been able to go back, and they don't have anything at all. Y tienes un plan. I know, you know, tienes familia que puede ayudar a tu familia. Do they have family?
Sí, ahorita desgraciadamente estoy ahí con mi hermana viviendo ahorita, pero pues lo queremos es ahorita no nos ha ofrecido la ayuda necesaria para encontrarnos de vivir, porque queremos vivir en un lugar estable, porque es difícil ahorita. Pues yo sé que somos muchas personas que estamos en la misma situación. Todo Altamira se devastó, todo está, y es un caos.
Oh, that's the problem.
Thank you so much, Francisco and Matilde. We are praying for you. We're so sorry about what happened. Muchas gracias para hablar conmigo. Yes. So right now he was saying he does have a sister who they are staying with, but it is difficult because obviously, you know, you do have the family of 3 who's all staying there now along with that family as well. And they really want a place to live that can be theirs, can be stable, especially for their young daughter who is only 6 years old. So you can just imagine what people are going through. But, you know, the outpouring of support is incredible. We spoke with a woman earlier, Regina, who came all the way from Long Beach to talk to us. And she was just talking about how she saw the news and she wanted to come here and bring whatever she could. And it really is incredible that people are coming from all over to help. I'll send it back to you.
Coco, I can hear the emotion there in your voice.
That's yeah, it is. Thank you, Coco, for being out there for us and
Yeah,
bringing
shout out to Coco.
Such a
let's hear it for that. That's kind of dope.
And the human toll here. So if you'd like to donate, the address is 1001 Rose Bowl Drive. This is where Coco is right now. Lot I, Zone 5, food and water. They're looking for pet food. They're looking for clothes and also diapers.
And by the way, thank you to all of our viewers at home who've been reaching out to us and trying to figure out how they can help.
Yeah.
This is one way that you can do that. Most definitely, because you could hear it's almost it is too much for words. The loss is too much for words.
It's extraordinary.
Yeah.
And you heard that gentleman just talk about trying to explain this to his 6-year-old child, and she's just naturally wondering, like, where's her house and what happened? Just human questions.
Yeah.
And those questions, many parents and guardians across Southern California are having to deal with. And then also, you're trying to deal with your own emotions too, and then hold space for your children, and maybe you lost your business. It is just so much, and it doesn't make any sense. And it just leaves you wondering, why did this happen? Why did this have to happen?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just so many people.
Just so many people. Maria.
So hard to watch that. We pray. We can't give, maybe. Pray. Most definitely. But we feel for them. All right, let me do this. Let me tell you about what we are expecting and these winds that are going to gradually weaken, which is a good thing, especially as we get to the afternoon and evening. It's hard.
It's hard. Yeah.
I know. The air quality is really bad. I got to tell you about that. When I walked out the door this morning, it is unhealthy. So protect yourself. If you are going to be running from home to car to work, please limit your outdoor exposure. The red flag warnings will continue. So we do have the fire danger that's staying with us. The winds, though, this is the good news. Let's take a look at the computer model here, as we still are getting these wind gusts pretty strong in some of these canyons, but they are not as strong as they were even as late as yesterday morning. So that's the good news. They're less than half of what they were certainly the other day. We're still getting some 20, 30 mile per hour winds, but they are going to continue to diminish as we get to the afternoon, evening. Even tomorrow, we're going to get a bit of an onshore flow, which could pose some problems in terms of what firefighters are going to be dealing with and where the flames are going to be directed to. They're not too strong. However, it will bring a little bit more moisture into the atmosphere. And I do want you to remember the air quality, because some of the smoke will then get down to parts of Orange County where you're largely not feeling it or even seeing it. But please remember that some of that toxic air will be filtered down south further and into the Inland Empire. So just keep that in mind. The winds are going to be variable as we get to the weekend. So occasionally we'll get some bursts of wind, stronger on Sunday, perhaps in some areas. But watch what happens on Monday and Tuesday. We are going to get another round of moderate to strong winds, not as strong as what we saw earlier this week, but this could exacerbate some of the problems. But just keep that in mind in terms of fire danger and being ready just in case. Just get your ready, set, go fire plan in place just in case. All right. As we get to next week, there is some more weakening and there is a slight chance for some showers. At this point, it's a 10 to 20% chance, but we'll try to hang on to that and we'll see if that materializes. Otherwise, we do have these high wind warnings still in effect. We still have some of these wind gusts getting to 55 plus miles an hour. Some of the high desert locations, parts of the Santa Clarita Valley, even through parts of the coastline here in Ventura and Malibu. And then out towards the lower deserts, we've got some of those stronger winds. Wind advisories, not bad. So some breezier conditions here through parts of Thousand Oaks, Agoura, parts of that 101, but it is going to continue to diminish. So hopefully these advisories will be expiring later this evening. 68 degrees in Fresno if you're headed north. We have some wet weather to the Pacific Northwest. Sadly, that is the pattern that we are in. This is the La Nina condition that we have talked about, and it typically means the wet weather stays to our north and we get this dry weather pattern here across the southwest. Riverside, we're waking up to about 53 degrees. The wind still coming out of the northeast, as you can see here, but on the lighter side. And then maybe a little bit of a sea breeze trying to blow in later this afternoon with that temperature nearing 70 degrees at 3 p.m. Okay, that's it for now. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Liv.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, coming up, everybody, our team coverage of the wildfires continues.
Wow.
We're going to take it live to the Eden Fire when we come right back. Stay with us.
Those are neighborhoods, y'all.
Thank you to our Fox 11 LA coverage. And I did want to pull up this shot from Sky Fox that we've been showing you throughout the morning here. You can see this is the Pacific Coast Highway as it is been flying along the coast, giving us some perspective. You can see it zooming in right now. Look at all of those homes that have been totally burnt down. You can see some of the structure still standing up there. I think that's a chimney over to the right-hand side of your screen. Just devastating what these people have had to go through. As of right now, again, the latest, just 10 people dead. But we did hear from our Fox 11 LA reporter, sadly, that number expected to rise. Once we get any confirmation, of course, we will bring it to you here on Live Now. And as you can see by the destruction, it's no surprise more than 9,000 structures have been damaged or destroyed.
Wow.
95,000 customers in LA County right now are without power. We're going to go away for another break on Live Now from Fox. The coverage continues on the other side.
Oh my gosh, man, that is amazing. Wow. All right, so they're on a commercial break, and bring the hitman back in. Here I am. Let's go like this. Yo, that is insane. Man, shout out and prayers for all the people that are negatively impacted. This is going to be catastrophic, man. I don't know how this won't be resolved in a year. This won't be resolved in, I dare say, 10 years even. They'll still be dealing with this, man. Wow. That's crazy. That is insane. And then when you start looking at, if we decide to jump into Twitter and to start going through some of the news articles and some of I actually downloaded a couple of them this morning. Wow, that is heartbreaking to think about all of that devastation. And again, like whether you like California or not, I think we all can agree that California, generally speaking, has a beautiful place, beautiful scenes and stuff like that. To see this is just insane. Wow, I'm gonna sneeze. Plus, my girls just came in and said they want to go sledding. I said, y'all go sledding, go ahead and do it. So we might take it on the road and go sledding.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox. If you are just joining us, we are continuing our coverage out of California. These wildfires that we're keeping an eye on. There's 5 right now. There are a couple, though, that are having the biggest impact. I am going to take you out to this live look right now as we do await our Fox LA coverage to come back right now.
Amazing.
But again, the Palisades and the Eaton fire, those are those really big ones that we're keeping an eye on. The Palisades fire has grown to about 20,000 acres. The Eaton fire, more than 13,000 acres. The National Guard arriving as this fire death toll rises to at least 10. Again, we are expecting that to sadly increase. We're going to hear from President Biden in just about an hour or so here on the government response. I do want to head back to our Fox LA team. It looks like they are back in coverage.
Oh, you've got a home right there across the street on Pacific Coast Highway between 2 other homes.
Wow.
Leveled, gone. But the other homes seem to be fine. Go across the street, 2 of them or 3 of them are good. And then you have a row of just destruction after destruction and some of Skyfox in the shot. And it just goes and goes and goes. The fire department, they're out here. There's plenty of hot spots as we would just kind of looking around out here, flying the coastline. Every now and then you'll see some smoke up there on a hillside. Firefighters are out there. There's still spot fires that continue up here as well. But this is all the area that's been evacuated. Going to end with one more shot. Again, this one also, I believe, is technically still going to be in the Malibu area. But again, just neighborhood after neighborhood just leveled, and then maybe 1 or 2 houses standing.
Wow.
First shot that we've gotten yet of the destruction there, especially in Malibu. I'm sure that you've done this too, Stu. You drive up and down PCH and you look at all the homes that are right near the water, and you just marvel at how beautiful they all are. And to think now that most of them are gone is unreal.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, and you were talking about that, and there you go. You go across the street, and you just, right there. Those are the ones that you're talking about. Those are the seaside homes that are off of Malibu, and they're just, all of them just are gone. just one after another, leveled. And of course, you know, I'm also kind of wondering, I mean, I know this kind of goes down to another different rabbit hole, but, you know, I've heard in the past that they weren't going to allow construction there anymore. And now that these homes are gone, are they never coming back? It's just more questions than answers right now. But you can see how they're total destruction, and then there's a group of homes that are just fine.
It doesn't make sense,
so much
right?
Of that
It's
in all the various communities.
Yeah.
From, you know, here to Altadena, when you look at some of these shots, there's like one house or two houses, and then the rest are just all gone. Oh my goodness, dude! Thank you very much for bringing us this perspective. And I think as we continue to look at these aerial views, we're really getting a true sense of the depth of the destruction.
Yeah.
Over the last couple days here.
And to Stu's point, you wonder what this is going to look like after it's all said and done.
Will
Will
they be able to
people
come
be
back
allowed,
there?
right, to even rebuild in some of these areas? It is. Thank you, Stu. It is a new reality, right, in Southern California. The scale of the destruction that is hard to imagine. Nearly 9,000 homes, businesses lost, an area the size of San Francisco burned.
Wow. And this morning, the National Guard has been deployed. Mario standing by for us in Altadena with the story. Good morning to you.
Good morning, and we've seen a lot of that destruction that Stu was talking about here in these neighborhoods that have been evacuated. A big concern is the looting that could happen.
Looting
that
is
has
crazy.
been happening since, and just take a look at this. The California National Guard has now moved in, and what you're looking at here, a MAT V, as it's called, it's made to withstand explosives, right now being used as a show of force to deter criminal activity.
Yo,
400
that's
Guard
crazy.
members have now been deployed to assist law enforcement with traffic control and also securing these fire zones. This comes as 20 people have been arrested for looting in evacuated areas between Wednesday night and Thursday morning. Governor
so
Newsom
wild.
approved the deployment, saying the state is using every resource to protect these communities, and also warning that looting will not be tolerated. We've heard from residents here. They've been pleading and begging for more help. Now, the LA County Sheriff's Department also considering working on a mandatory curfew both for the Palisades and Eaton fires between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. to also deter this type of activity, this type of looting. Coming back out here live, this is a hard closure at
That is
Woodbury
crazy.
and Santa Rosa. The only vehicles being let up, emergency vehicles, utility crews. The Angeles National Forest now says 4,000 to 5,000 structures have been destroyed in this fire zone alone. For now, live here in Altadena, I'm Mario Ramirez. We'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Mario. Also, just a note into our newsroom from Pasadena city officials. They called our assignment desk. They wanted us to let you know, please do not use your leaf blower to try to extinguish a fire in your community.
Are you crazy?
Please do not use your leaf blower, because city officials in Pasadena are saying that it actually is spreading the fire rather than containing or stopping
Oh my gosh,
the fire.
what's wrong
So
with
that's a
y'all?
note
I've
in
been doing
Pasadena
that,
city officials. Yeah, because folks have been doing that. All right, we'll still ahead this morning. How you can help victims of the Southern California wildfires.
Yeah, so we're going to take you also back live to Pacific Palisades for the latest on the Palisades fire and the destruction that it left behind. Stay with us.
Yo,
that was our Fox 11 LA coverage. And I am just going to continue this image of the Sky Fox right now as they are heading out to a commercial break. We are talking about these two major fires here. Again, there's 5 of them, but the Palisades and the Eaton fire, the newest information we have right now, at least 5,000 structures have been burned in the Palisades fire, but it's important to note a structure can include a shed, a car. So it's not all homes included in that number, of course, though, as we've been showing you, many homes completely destroyed. The Eaton fire as well, at least 4,000 structures have burned in the Altadena and the Pasadena areas as well. The fire in the Eaton fire is still at 0% containment, and the Palisades fire is currently at 6% containment. Let's go away for a 2-minute break on Live Now from Fox. Much more to come on all of this.
All right, so they're doing a commercial break. 1 second. Sorry about that. All right, they're doing a commercial break. All right, let's get into a little bit more. Shout out to Real Time. Says that I've been watching this LA catastrophe nonstop since Tuesday through local coverage. It is devastating. I hate to say, but devastating is an understatement. That is I'm going to go out there and say it's biblical. Like that, I need you to remember, like that's what God did to Sodom and Gomorrah. That's what he promised to do instead of a flood next time. That's what we're talking about here, people. I'm not saying God is burning California, so don't hear what I didn't say. I'm just saying keep that in mind. That's what he's talking about when he says it'll be a fire next time. But I want to bring in a YouTuber who is discussing this, and I think he probably has a good perspective on it. I actually have not seen his video, so shout out to Decoy Voice, a great content creator. I'm not certain on his language, so I need y'all to be a little bit gracious with me this early in the morning. Boy, Bruce is a mess. Bruce coming in with the shots fired early in the morning. As soon as I get my shots fired sound effects, shout out to anybody that wants to come over and help Dear Will Christian get the sound effects working right through StreamYard using the Stream Deck. And I'm going to give you that for sure. Good morning, N-Dog in the house. What's happening? Happy 25 to you. If I have not said it directly to you, N-Dog. If you're not familiar, N-Dog is the official membership chair of DWC. She's got the seat locked down. She keeps people hopped in all the time in the DWC gang. I hate to say it, but that is hilarious, man. That is hilarious. Okay, before I pull in the Decoy Voice video.
As fires break out all across Los
Angeles. Before I pull that video in, I just want to propose an idea that I proposed to some other content creators this morning. This is my thought. And just want you to think about it. You don't even have to type. Save it. We might come back later on and do a special show on the topic. Matter of fact, I'm probably going to put a community post on it as well. Here's my thought. So far in 2025, have you noticed how many inept leaders, how many, I'm going to say participation trophy leaders are being exposed for not being good leaders? Have you noticed that? It's almost uncanny that since literally New Year's Day, we've seen nothing but inept leaders get put on display. And we're only in the 10th day of the month of January. It's fair to say that we probably have seen maybe 3, 4. If you talk about New Orleans, Vegas, the mayor that was selling drugs, and now this is 4. And if you take the individual parts of this California one, there are a lot of people that are being exposed, and I'm just going to call them participation prize leaders. Just think about that. Just think about it. Noodle it around a little bit. We'll come back. Maybe we'll do it again. Like maybe we'll do a special show on it all together and just talk about it. But okay, that was it. Now let's bring Decoy Voice in and hear what he's got to say. I'm sure it's going to be good. So let's go. Let's go.
As fires break out all across Los Angeles, residents see their homes burn down and are forced to flee the flames, alongside the local wildlife as well. But somehow, Amazon is still out there delivering packages. But in other places, it appears looters are beginning to move in, even in broad daylight, as emergency services are already stretched thin, as entire parts of the city have now been destroyed. But I will be careful, as apparently the Weather Channel accidentally broadcast the charred remains of a person. Now, this is a mass tragedy in several parts of the city where I used to live, and I do know several people already impacted or soon to be evacuated. So I won't heavily politicize what's happening to them, but I also won't ignore the issues that they too are angry over, as we have zero confidence in Mayor Bass.
Right now, if you need help, emergency information, resources, and shelter is available. All of this can be found at URL.
Residents are now chasing down Governor Newsom.
Governor, yo, that was savage right there. Governor. This was a really good
school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him.
The corporate media blames the water shortages on their residents.
And those water tanks ran dry. Part of the problem is a lot of people are using hoses, trying to understandably hose down their lawns, hoping that will stop the fire. A lot of firefighters will say that's not going to stop a fire like this.
And apparently one of Los Angeles's fire chiefs had previously blamed her criticism on victims.
Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire. Which my
I got that video.
He got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Oh my gosh, I got
So
that
there's
video.
an awful lot to unpack here. From angry residents at their unilateral Democrat leadership, how they'd like to blame the flames on you eating steaks and driving a gas car, but more importantly, how I don't necessarily hold politicians responsible for natural disasters, but in the same sense, we can't pretend like they aren't exasperating the issues at nearly every step of the way, as it's no longer a fire just in the Pacific Palisades, but up near Pasadena, over in Studio City, and all the way over in Woodland Hills as well, as the city faced hurricane speed winds and yet left the power lines on. And even in burned down homes, the gas lines still weren't cut off, as the fires weren't only over ineptitude, as arsonists have now started fires across the city in lawless Santa Monica.
Not all the people there, but some of those guys lit that fire, and they're actually, the trees caught fire, and then the palms are catching fire. So civilians are now lighting fires.
And even closer to downtown, as Koreatown appears to have someone burning garbage too.
Oh, that's on purpose. That has to be on purpose.
Wow.
So the entire city appears to be in flames.
Look at that.
As it can even be seen from the ocean, where airplane footage makes LA look like a scene from the apocalypse. So nursing homes had to be evacuated, and people even had to rush out their horses on foot.
How many more? We don't know. I don't know how many.
Now, there wasn't an emergency alert to evacuate everybody in the entire city, but apparently that was just a mistake, only causing additional, unnecessary panic. But what is concerning is a fire up north is getting closer to Mount Wilson that has vital communication towers, as the news outlets have already lost normal connection.
Only reason that you're able to see us right now is because of a Starlink connection that we just got today. That's the only reason we're able to hear and communicate with you guys right now, because there's absolutely no cell service at all in this whole area.
And although Starlink is widely available, most people don't have it, can't afford it, or wouldn't even know to get it until it's already too late, because it's hard to evacuate if the lines of communication have already gone down. And even when you do decide to leave, you very well could be stuck in miles of traffic. As earlier, some streets became blocked as people abandoned their vehicles as they fled the flames. And even though a bulldozer came through later to make way for emergency vehicles, with these huge hurricane-strength gusts of wind, even big rigs were getting knocked over. And what's worse, it was impacting the fire department's airdrops of water.
Totally missing the mark, yeah. Look at that plane. Look at the plane. It's getting blown sideways.
Where even from point blank range, they were still missing.
Totally missed.
Now, some of these choppers were straight snipers with their water drops.
This and look at that drop there. Ooh, that was beautiful.
Straight 360 no-scoping these flames at nighttime.
Nerf time.
Much appreciation to all the emergency workers out there.
Sure.
Pulling nonstop hours, as this isn't even close to being over. As in Los Angeles, I imagine every agency's ground-level guys are going to be fighting their chain of command every step of the way, as we haven't seen a fire disaster this bad since what happened in Maui, which was alarmingly just over a year ago. And like Lahaina, a lot of the rescue efforts were up to regular citizens, as Scooter Castor from Freedom News went in to rescue the animals, but was blocked by downed power lines, and then came across a no looters sign ominously placed on a street with no outlet. Now, social media says this video is of looters, but honestly, it's hard to confirm any of this, as people oftentimes find old footage and pass it around as new, or mislabel it, so who knows what's really happening at this point. But stuff like this is hard to dismiss. People that don't speak English with a way out-of-state license plate saying they're coming in to check in on their home. But what we do know, they are already arresting looters.
I talked about the 20 arrests that have been made so far. Unfortunately, I do expect that to go up. We're not going to tolerate that kind of activity.
And hopefully LA's new DA will actually throw the book at them.
The DA's office, working with law enforcement, is going to arrest you. They're going to prosecute you, and you will be punished to the full extent of the law.
Let's see it. Let's see it, LA.
And I've seen plenty of angry posts online about looters in LA, but it's pretty true, as anybody that wants to take advantage of people already losing their home is pretty unfixable and likely won't ever be a positive member of society. So I'm personally all right with life sentences for anyone looting during times like these, and additionally, anybody committing arson in times like these. As when the community is most vulnerable, if you're somebody that would go out of your way to make it worse, either for personal gain or because you're criminally insane, I see literally no positive in letting them remain in society, so why not make an example out of them? As right now, the main Palisades fire is at 0% containment, and on the other side of the 101, the Woodland Hills fire quickly exploded, and as fast as the winds died down, we're in for more high winds tomorrow, as we're now seeing fire risks all the way through the Inland Empire, Orange County down to San Diego County, which is horrifying when you see the drone footage of the Eden fire in Altadena, the aftermath of the fire sweeping through the Pacific Palisades, and up close, it literally looks like a war zone. Now, the Caruso Mall is still intact, which is ironic, as Rick Caruso ran for mayor in Los Angeles in 2022, where he warned about our fire department's issues.
And there's a deep concern throughout this city that the paramedics and the firefighters are understaffed because their budget has not been restored. My plan as mayor is simple. We are going to restore the budget to bring the staffing levels back, to give the residents of Los Angeles the service they pay for and deserve.
Only to lose to Karen Bass, who almost immediately cut the fire department's budget by over $17 million, making it her second largest cut, just beneath the street services. So after returning from her visit to Ghana to attend a wedding that for some reason our taxes paid for, she had nothing to say.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Oh, that is crazy.
Absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today. Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position?
And when she did finally speak, it wasn't any better.
Can you address the criticism now over the budget issue and the slashing, $17 million?
I think if you go back and look at the reductions that were made, there were no reductions that were made that would have impacted the situation that we were dealing with over the last couple of days.
Which is the complete opposite of what her own fire chief stated a month ago, explaining the elimination of $7 million in overtime variable staffing hours adversely affects their core operations, including fire prevention. It limits the department's ability to prepare, train, and respond to large-scale emergencies like wildfires. As now, the Los Angeles fire chief states there's not enough firefighters. Now, if the mayor is too stupid to realize saying, find emergency info at URL, I somehow doubt she's going to understand cutting the fire department's budget is going to impact their ability to fight fires. But at this point, I think politicians aren't even human, because let's just take the whole standing there in silence while being asked about her absence. A regular person can own up to their mistakes and say, hey, we had this political trip planned out for months, and last week, we made the mistake of underestimating how bad these winds would be. But as soon as I heard the fires were breaking out, we rearranged my flight from Africa to right now, and here I am on day 2 to coordinate relief efforts. That's not a great response for the citizens, but at least it's a response for the citizens. And even if she says that exact thing later, it's still more scripted PR-approved nonsense. As sadly, normal human interactions are no longer in our politicians' playbooks. It's all just silence and lies. Silence over her prioritizing weddings in Ghana over the city, and lies about her own policies increasing the fire's devastation. But finally, these lies are simply too obvious to get away with, as what happens after you slash a budget takes a bit of effort to piece together. But your house burning down and not having water to put it out is something politicians can't just pretend isn't happening, as she tried to blame the fire hydrants not having water on the wind.
How are we addressing these water problems that are continuing? And is it acceptable that they continue?
Well, let me just say that the water problems are a little better now because the winds are such that we can go up and have the air support. And you know that that was the reason that the devastation was so bad, the unprecedented wind.
And even Fox News tried to say it wasn't happening.
And all of these residents are paying the ultimate price for that.
Despite what you have heard from Caruso, no firefighters have told us that they are running out of water.
And let's go out to Gigi Graciette. She is live in Pacific Palisades. I know your signal's not the best, but Gigi, what can you tell us?
Well, firefighters have told me they have no water on this block.
Now, I normally would say it's hilarious for a mainstream media news anchor to say the fire hydrants do have water, then their own journalist straight up calls out their lie right after. But it's not funny. It's infuriating to know that most people do trust the news, and their lives would be in greater danger because of it, as the city knows the fire hydrants don't have water.
With Lindsay Horvath, one of the board members for the LA County Supervisors, and said, you know, how does this happen? And she said, look, we need to do changes. And we're in the midst of already talking about a different water plan for LA County.
And tragically, now the citizens know too.
There's no water. There's no fucking water. There's no fucking water. Motherfuckers.
As some Los Angeles residents have resorted to fighting the fires with almond milk. And again, when the fire hydrants ran out of water, the mainstream media wants to blame the citizens.
Up in the hills and the mountains, you know, they have these giant water tanks that use gravity, and those water tanks ran dry. Part of the problem is a lot of people are using hoses trying to...
How infuriating would it be to live in one of those expensive LA neighborhoods, paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in property tax over the years, all to not have water or firefighters to protect your home in the very predictable event that a wildfire will break out. And when your home burns down, you turn on the TV to see this is your fault for using what little water was available, and that's after the media and politicians tried to pretend that wasn't actually happening. Now, they do finally admit why there was no water to fight the fires.
We ran out of water in the second tank about 8:30 p.m. and the third tank about 3 a.m. this morning. Those tanks help with the pressure on the fire hydrants and the hills of Palisades. And because we were pushing so much water in our trunk line, and so much water was being used before it could get to the tanks, we were not able to fill the tanks fast enough. So the consumption of water was faster than we can provide water in our trunk line.
Which is something former McDonald's employee Donald Trump addressed.
Well, it's very sad because I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish, which is in other areas, by the way, called the smelt. And for the sake of a smelt, they have no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants today in Los Angeles. It was a terrible thing.
Now, it sounds ridiculous that there would be a water shortage over this fish. So Trump even ran his campaign for president on solving California's water crisis.
And you'd stop many of these horrible fires that are costing billions and billions of dollars by the federal government, et cetera. So one thing I'm going to do for California, vote for me, California. I'm going to give you safety. I'm going to give you a great border, and I'm going to give you more water than almost anybody has.
And even in 2018, during his first administration, he instructed Newsom to better prepare the state for wildfires.
Got to take care of the floors, you know, the floors of the forests, very important. You look at other countries where they do it differently, and it's a whole different story. And they spend a lot of time on raking and cleaning and doing things, and they don't have any problem. And when it is, it's a very small problem.
So again, you don't want to politicize suffering, but when your politicians prioritize their vanity projects over our safety, it's actually irresponsible to ignore the political portion of why this suffering is happening. So when Newsom saw Trump's comments, he took to Twitter to complain about him politicizing the unprecedented fires. And yes, people have lost their lives both figuratively and literally, so you don't want to use someone's tragedy to say, I told you so. But in Newsom's entire softball interview on CNN, he never actually provides any solutions. He never answers for the failures of his own administration. It all just looks like B-roll for his presidential campaign, as it might look like he's actually doing something productive, standing in front of somebody's house being burned down, and yet another fiery but mostly peaceful liberal failure. But in all this time of unilateral liberal leadership in California, $7 billion and an entire decade produced nothing for their water project. Unless you mean for a certain Eastern European country that apparently got our firefighting supplies a couple years ago. As now, the citizens are finally snapping.
That was my my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
Come on.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the
Why
call.
is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
Interesting how I'm literally talking to the president right now turns into I literally don't have any cell service. As he obviously has zero answers for her, he just wants to slither away before this looks any worse than it already does. And the simple fact that he doesn't have any solutions for her other than I'm gonna call Biden shows that this is nothing but a photo op for him. Newsom could have called Biden from Sacramento, but no, he had to slap on some hair gel and sunglasses for some faux support footage, then speed off after accomplishing a whole lot of nothing. As what exactly is Biden doing? Bragging about being a great-grandfather.
The good news is I'm a great-grandfather as of today.
He really said that.
When he actually addresses the wildfires, he jokes about it.
Madam Vice President, I know you're directly affected, so you fire away. No pun intended.
All right, as the president throws it to the vice president.
And it's messed up, but I don't mind it, as I too try to cut the tension with crappy jokes. I just find it interesting how Kamala was obviously about to say something, but CNN can't help themselves but cover for Biden. So they can't even let her speak just to make certain Biden doesn't say anything more stupid. But now, Governor Newsom, Mayor Bass, and FEMA have all gathered together to try to tackle the disaster, which if you remember what happened in Hawaii, this may just impede the local relief efforts. And I forgot who said it, but it was, the scariest sentence ever spoken is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. As there are plenty of instances in Lahaina of people trying to jet ski in supplies, only to be blocked by our own official relief efforts. And sadly, all that stuff was just memory hold. But we can get lessons from this random anonymous account that said they lived through the Colorado fires, stating be prepared for a painfully slow recovery process, so rental prices are going to skyrocket. Adjacent school districts will overflow with students, demand for cars and furniture will be high, and pets will need homes. And just like in Maui, scumbags will try to lowball desperate homeowners for their land, and people will be stressed out and angry, so be kind and help where you can. That all sounds like excellent advice, as I'm still in a lot of group chats with friends in LA, and it really sounds like the community is pulling together to help those most impacted. But that's as there's only a few pockets of devastation in the city, so who knows what could happen if another round of wildfires breaks out, radio and cell service goes down, and already overwhelmed emergency services are needed to assist 5 to 10 times the amount of people. Now, I don't want to be a doomer, but being realistic, no matter where you are, we all should start thinking about what you would do in the event of a natural disaster like this, with absolutely nobody, not even a cell phone, that could help you, as you easily could be left without food, water, or electricity for weeks. And it does you absolutely nothing when the mayor just says, help can be found at U or L. So if you appreciate my concise and sometimes lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on how the mainstream media lies so badly, they might have accidentally committed treason.
All right, shout out to Decoy Voice. I have no idea why his name is Decoy Voice, by the way. I think that's hilarious. But yeah, man, this is wow. I don't even know where to go. This is so sad to see. There's so much devastation. And we're over here in Georgia. My kids are about to go sledding. And they're just being ridiculous. Oh, there's an actual
Very
news
short because we've got
there's actually an update. So let's jump back into the news going on in Fox real quick. Shout out to Amethyst Angel. Good to see you this morning, sister. Grace and peace to you. Always glad to see you. So I'm going to add this stream. Let me
the temperatures there, obviously, but winds, is that still going to be an impact? Let's head over there and listen
winds
in.
are crazy, man.
Yes, high pressure is going to stay in control of our weather. But as I mentioned, that low pressure system has finally moved out of our area. So the pressure gradients between these two systems have relaxed. And so that is one of the reasons why the winds are actually starting to relax as well. And it's going to continue to diminish, at least in the strong category. It's going to start to wind down down a bit. So we're going to go from really windy to kind of more breezy as we get to the afternoon and into tomorrow, and a little burst perhaps on Sunday. But I do want to give you a heads up that by next week, Monday to Tuesday, we may get another round of some fairly strong, moderate to strong gusty Santa Ana winds. So don't let your guard down. Those red flag warnings are going to stay in effect at least until 6 p.m. This evening, and along with those high wind warnings and wind advisories, hopefully will expire this afternoon. However, that being said, we could see a return of some of these weather alerts by Monday into Tuesday. Now, as we look ahead beyond that, I do have some fairly optimistic, or at least some promising news if it comes to fruition. I'll show you in just a moment. But I did mention that red flag warning. So everyone's still under critical fire weather conditions. That means that a small spark, if some of those embers still can get blown somewhere, that can create a fire and can spread rapidly under these weather conditions. So if you are parts of the Inland Empire, maybe you have not been impacted directly by a fire, please stay vigilant and be prepared with your fire plan, okay? Wind advisory still in effect for portions of the mountains and also here in the parts of our valleys. The future humidity values are going to go up. That's also an indication of things changing. You can see here slight onshore flow coming in as we get into tomorrow and Sunday. Just quickly, I want to show you this one computer model. You can tell high pressure is in control of our weather. Look how clear it is as we get through Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And then beyond that week, an area of low pressure may bring us the chance for some showers next week, Wednesday and Thursday. So hopefully that will happen. We'll be right back.
Wow. This is insane, y'all.
All right, and it looks like our Fox LA team just went to another break. So again, giving you this live image right now, this live picture from Sky Fox, as we actually do have some new information into our newsroom right now. I'm going to pull up this shot for you. This is just coming in right now. We're trying to get some more information. It looks like another press briefing is set to start here shortly. LA County City Windstorm and Wildfires One Voice press conference is what that sign reads in the background. Getting an update hopefully here shortly as we do await to hear from President Joe Biden. He's going to be holding a press conference on all of this, a briefing on the response from the government, set here for 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, so in about 30 minutes or so. And what we do here on Live Now from Fox is we are going to prioritize President Biden's coverage, but if this does start, we will bring it to you as well, and we'll pivot for that. And it looks like it may be starting shortly here. Let me just turn up the sound and listen in as we're seeing the mayor coming in right now.
Man.
All right, it looks like this is set to start here momentarily. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to read you the latest on what we know as of right now. And again, with this press conference, we may get even some more new updated information, hopefully. I'm just going to let my producer know to signal to me when they do see someone start talking here. But again, 10 people dead as of right now as these wildfires are continuing to burn across Los Angeles County. More than 9,000 structures damaged or destroyed. At least 180,000 are under evacuation orders right now. 95,000 customers in Los Angeles County are without power. Let's turn up the sound here to see if anyone is beginning to speak here.
All right, we're going to get started. I'm going to announce please. All right, good morning, everybody. We are kicking off our One Voice press conference, LA County, LA City together. We have a short presentation today. We're aiming for conciseness. So we're going to start off with the LA County Director of the Office of Emergency Management, Kevin McGowan.
Thank you, Helen. Hi, my name is Kevin McGowan. I'm the Director of the Office of Emergency Management for Los Angeles County. There is an extreme amount of frustration, anger, fear with regards to the erroneous messages that have been being sent out through the wireless emergency alert system across LA County. I can't express enough how sorry I am for this experience. First of all, I want to clarify, this is not human driven. There is no one sitting at a desk right now initiating emergency alerts. I want to restate that. Right now, as these alerts are being issued, they are not being activated or initiated by a person. This is my top priority.
Is it Skynet?
I am working all hands on deck with the Federal Emergency Management Agency's Integrated Public Alert and Warning Team. We have every technical specialist working to resolve this issue and to find the root cause. I implore everyone to not disable the messages on your phone. This is extremely frustrating, painful, and scary, but these alert tools have saved lives during this emergency. Not receiving an alert can be a consequence of life and death. As we continue to work on the root cause, I ask everyone that gets an alert to verify if they are in an evacuation warning or order to go to alertla.org, lacounty.gov/emergency, or dial 211 for assistance. The mapping is accurate on where evacuation warnings and orders exist. Again, this is my top priority. This is the top priority of my partners at the state and at FEMA with the public alert and warning tool to resolve this issue as quickly as possible and identify the root cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to make this very short because we've got a full list of people that want to present today. You're going to hear information from our insurance commissioner, Ricardo Lara. Thank you for being here, about how residents can get connected to insurance support to recover and rebuild. And I was up in the Alpine area last night, and the common question was, how do I navigate the insurance process, and will I be able to get insured again? And so I felt it was important for us to hear from our insurance commissioner, who's been very engaged on this issue. And then I just want to say to everyone, you know, I've been out and I've heard from my residents, and I think we've all had someone impacted by this fire. I keep saying it, you are not alone. I talk to families that have lost everything, and they don't know where to go. And as the supervisor representing that district, but also as a chair, I speak for this board. We are here to support you, and we will be here for the long road to rebuild. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Mayor Bass to say a few words.
Thank you, Chair Barger. All of us here are working urgently and around the clock to confront this ongoing firestorm. And when we are on the front lines, when we're in the command posts, when we're in the Emergency Operations Center, we carry with us our friends and neighbors. That is what this fight is all about. It's about those friends, neighbors, and loved ones who have fled their homes, those who have lost their homes, those who have lost their lives. To all Angelenos, we are fighting hard for each of you. So here's our city update responding to this natural disaster. LAFD battled all night on the Palisades fire, the Hearst fire, the Kenneth fire, and airdrop efforts, thank goodness, continue. LAFD also responded to and extinguished fires in Pacoima, Hollywood, Studio City, and more. I do want to let everyone know that Griffith Park, including Runyon Canyon, will be closed through Sunday. Yesterday, President Biden pledged his full support for response efforts, including FEMA reimbursement, 100% of our disaster response costs. FEMA also launched resources and support for Angelenos impacted by these fires. Visit disasterassistance.gov to apply. We have worked with the governor and Sheriff Luna to secure the National Guard, which will back up and free up our firefighters and police officers and play a key role in securing our evacuation zones to keep people safe and to protect against anyone thinking of taking advantage of this tragedy. People from across LA, the nation, and the world are asking how to help. Yesterday, I spoke of the California Community Foundation's Wildlife Recovery Fund, and today I'm grateful to share that within 24 hours, they have raised $2.5 million from 4,000 generous donors. Visit calfund.org. I also mentioned that Airbnb has been working through the 211 online portal to provide free temporary housing. Now, the demand has been extremely high, and Airbnb has increased their commitment to providing emergency assistance for now 25,000 evacuees, first responders, and others impacted by the fires. Visit 211la.org to get connected. With so many homes and businesses lost, we are already putting plans in place to make sure that we aggressively rebuild. My office is leading the city effort to clear the way. Red tape, bureaucracy, all of it must go. This will be an enormous undertaking, but we will be ready for it because we will not rely on the old way of doing things. For this recovery, we will have, like we have done in other areas, we shake up the system and move forward with new strategies and policies. I don't believe that there is anything that Angelenos cannot do if we stand together. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce LA County's 3rd District Supervisor, Lindsay Horvath.
Good morning. I want to first start by thanking our first responders who were focused in the Topanga region yesterday and responded swiftly to the Kenneth fire. Incredible action from firefighters who are giving multiple fires absolutely everything they've got. Initial reports led our department to serious concerns, but we have the absolute best, most experienced teams leading our efforts, and even with the most challenging circumstances and terrain, they have been able to deliver. Next, I want to express my deep frustration with the alert system, and it is being addressed now by the county's Office of Emergency Management, as Director McGowan described. We'll be investigating what happened, how, and why at every level in our exhaustive after-action process to ensure it is corrected. There is a reason why we have redundancies in our communication system. Crises require them. Please sign up for alertla.org, visit emergency.lacounty.gov, and tune into local radio and TV. Our LA media partners have done an incredible job getting the word out, and it's why we hold these press briefings. In terms of overnight updates in the communities I represent, we had a small brush fire of under 5 acres in Pacoima that the fire department knocked out quickly, and we thank them for their bravery and their swift action. The fires continue to have air quality impacts throughout the Los Angeles County region. A smoke advisory has been extended through Friday. To limit exposure, please remain indoors as much as possible, avoid outdoor physical activity, and run your air conditioner or air purifier if you have one. The Department of Public Health's Chief Deputy, Dr. Anish Mahajan, is here and can help answer questions about air quality. The strength and resolve of Los Angeles County residents, as well as our extraordinary first responders from every level of government, as well as our private citizens from across the country and right here in our own county, will be the way we get through this unimaginable tragedy. Thank you. I'd now like to welcome up LA County Fire Chief Anthony Maroney.
Thank you, Supervisor. So good morning. The Eaton fire, current estimated acreage, 13,956 acres with 3% containment. We still have 4,000 to 5,000 structures that may be damaged or destroyed. Once we do our damage inspection reports, we'll get a more accurate number for you. We currently have 1,527 firefighting personnel remaining assigned to this incident. The LA County Fire Department is in unified command with the U.S. Forest Service, the LA County Sheriffs, along with the Pasadena, Arcadia, Sierra Madre Fire Departments, and the Pasadena Police Department. Yesterday afternoon, the fire in Eaton Canyon did make a push towards historic Mount Wilson. This observatory is okay thanks to the efforts of the firefighters and observatory staff, and no buildings have been destroyed at Mount Wilson. A firefighter did suffer a significant fall injury yesterday at the Eaton fire. He remains hospitalized. He's resting comfortably, and he's in stable condition and expected to make a full recovery. The cause of the fire remains unknown, and we will advise the media once we get the cause determined. We are appreciative to our many mutual aid partners from out of state for providing assistance to Los Angeles County in our time of need.
What about
Thanks to
Ukraine?
the increased number of resources assigned, the region is in a much better posture than we were earlier this week. And I have been advised that mutual aid resources from Canada are arriving
Wow.
now. The National Weather Service predicts that the red flag will continue through Friday or continue today through 6 p.m. However, our priority is also going to be to prepare for the next red flag event that is predicted to begin on Monday. I would also like to provide a brief update on the Kenneth fire that erupted yesterday near the Victory Trailhead at the border of Ventura and Los Angeles counties. Thanks to the quick action of first responders and aerial assets, the fire has been stopped. It's currently at 1,000 acres. We have 35% containment, and no structures are reported damaged or destroyed. One important topic I want to talk about is that we did have a drone incursion yesterday at the Palisades fire. Unknown exactly what time this small drone hit the wing of our CL-415 Super Scooper aircraft that we currently have on contract from the province of Quebec. The pilots were unaware that they hit the drone. It wasn't until they landed at Van Nuys Airport that the maintenance staff noticed that there was a fist-sized hole in the leading edge of the wing inboard of the landing light. That Super Scooper will be prioritized for repair 24/7. It should be flying Monday. We only have 2 of them. Everyone should know, all of your viewers, flying a drone in the fire traffic area is not only dangerous, but it's illegal. We do have our federal partners behind the scenes are going to be implementing procedures to be able to follow drones in our 2 large fire areas, and they will be able to identify who the operator of that drone is.
Oh my
The
gosh.
most important thing to know is that if you fly a drone at one of these brush fires, all aerial operations will be shut down. And we certainly don't want to have that happen. Before I close, I would like to thank Supervisor Barger and Horvath for their unwavering support and leadership. I would also like to acknowledge the tireless efforts of first responders who continue to place themselves in harm's way to protect our residents and property. Thank you. I would now like to bring up Fire Chief Kristen Crowley of the Los Angeles City Fire Department.
Thank you, Chief Maroney. So I'll just be providing a brief update of the overnight operations of our fires. So Palisades fires. This fire was currently tracked at 20,438 acres with 3,073 personnel assigned. Crews worked very, very hard overnight, strengthening our containment lines and addressing multiple spot fires in and around the Topanga Canyon area. Resources responded to the area, included our air assets to aid in the containment efforts. Due to the favorable overnight weather conditions and the diligent, and I'll focus on the diligent work and effort and commitment of our first responders, we can report that the Palisades fire is now 8% contained. Wind gusts are expected to increase in daylight hours that will test our containment lines. Our firefighters will continue to respond to any flare-ups and increase our containment lines. Evacuation orders remain in place. The Hearst fire, due to more accurate mapping and acreage, has been updated to 771 acres with 37% containment. All evacuation orders and warnings have been lifted. The Kenneth fire, Forward progress has been stopped with 35% containment at 1,000 acres. All evacuation orders and warnings within Los Angeles City have been lifted. I personally want to make sure that we thank and show our deepest gratitude to all of our Los Angeles City firefighters and all of our partners as we've been battling these fires for now. We're going into day 4. Thank you to LAPD for assisting us in keeping our communities safe. And lastly, thank you to all of the agencies who have come to aid during this time of help, and it absolutely does not go unnoticed. Thank you.
Yeah, now Sheriff Robert Luna. Thank you, Sheriff.
Good morning to everybody. This morning, we have well over 500 LA County deputies that are assisting continuous with evacuations, traffic control, security patrols, and other humanitarian efforts. They're out there. I hear people calling me. They see a lot of black and white police cars rolling with lights and siren. They're out there working. That's what they're doing. They've been actively patrolling evacuated areas and are increasing their presence to deter any burglary or looting activity that may occur. Just to summarize on evacuations for all the fires that we're dealing with, evacuations orders stand at approximately 153,000 residents that are under evacuation orders and approximately 57,830 structures at risk. And then evacuation warnings, approximately 166,800 residents under both warnings, or I'm sorry, those are just specifically for warnings. What I want to go to next, and we started talking about this last night, is a curfew. A curfew order has been established for the Palisades and Eaton fire areas in all mandatory evacuation zones. That will be in effect. It was in effect last night, and it's going to be in effect tonight at 6 p.m. So it ended at 6 a.m. this morning, will take effect again until 6 p.m. I'm emphasizing that to our media partners because part of this is communicating to the public. You cannot be in these affected areas. If you are subject to arrest. That is important. We're not doing this to inconvenience anybody. We're doing it to protect the structures, the houses that people have left because we ordered them to leave, and I want them to feel confident that we are doing everything we can to secure that. This curfew will be strictly enforced and is being taken to enhance public safety, protect property, and prevent any burglaries or looting in the area that the residents have evacuated. The only people that will be allowed in these areas are disaster workers, okay? I just want to make that clear because we have other people trying to get in there. And by the way, media partners who have legitimate media credentials, yes, you may enter those areas unless it's very, very unsafe and somebody tells you not to for that reason. Again, just specifically, anyone found in violation of this curfew will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor offense under LA County Code Section 2.68320, and conviction may result in a fine up to $1,000 or jail time. And I'm telling you right now, I know people talk about no bail, and I've given direction that if somebody's caught doing this, they are not going to get cited and released. They're going to get booked. We are not screwing around with this. We don't want anyone taking advantage of our residents that have already been victimized. The National Guard deployment. As many of you are aware, we asked for the National Guard. I'm very thankful to Governor Newsom and the State Office of Emergency Services that fulfilled that request. As of last night, we've had National Guardsmen assisting us. They arrived last night and deployed to the Eaton Fire area, and we're assisting with road closures and critical infrastructure protection. As additional Guard personnel arrive, and they will be in the next 12 to 24 hours, the Sheriff's Department will strategically coordinate their deployment with other partners such as the Los Angeles Police Department, Pasadena Police Department, Santa Monica Police Department, Azusa, and Arcadia. Those are the requests we have now. That may grow. We'll adjust as time goes on. I want to make sure that if anybody needs updated information on either evacuation orders or warnings or road closures, they go to lacounty.gov/emergency. And with that, I am going to be introducing Assistant Chief Dominic Choi from the Los Angeles Police Department.
All right. Good morning. On behalf of the Los Angeles Police Department, I just want to extend our deepest sympathies to all those affected by our fires. And that includes many of our own LAPD officers who've lost homes and property in this fire. And they continue to serve these communities. And I appreciate all their work. I have a number of important updates for all of you today. And I'm going to start by an arrest that was made late yesterday afternoon. So yesterday afternoon, the Kenneth fire started at the border of West Hills and the city of Los Angeles and Ventura County. At 4:32 p.m., we received a 911 call that a suspect was attempting to light a fire in the community of Woodland Hills and was being detained by residents. Officers from LAPD's Topanga area responded and took that suspect into custody. And once we learned that this suspect was a possible arson suspect, our Major Crimes Division responded to Topanga Division, along with Ventura County sheriffs, who was the lead in the Kenneth fire investigation. But they responded, they interviewed this suspect. After the interview and additional investigative steps, looking at some additional evidence that was present, they made the determination that there was not enough probable cause to arrest this person on arson or suspicion of arson, and therefore this person was arrested on a felony probation violation. This investigation is ongoing, however, and I'd like to thank those community members that were involved in this and helping us bring this person to our attention, and so we can have an ongoing investigation. The second point I want to talk about is for any of those people looking for loved ones or missing people related specifically to the Palisades fire. Now, the county is also doing this for the Eden fire, but for the city of Los Angeles, we've stood up a family assistance center. This center is located at Chevy Hills Recreation Center, and it's at 2551 Motor Avenue. It's going to be open today from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We will have 10 officers there ready to receive anyone who needs to report a missing person related to the Palisades fire. We will also have the American Red Cross, the Mayor's Crisis Response Team, the LA County Medical Examiner's Office, and the LA County Department of Mental Health. They will be there to help support, answer questions, and provide information as necessary. Again, I just want to emphasize this is for missing people related to Palisades fire. This is not for any other issues related to the fire. LAPD and our law enforcement partners are actively maintaining law and order in the areas impacted by the fires. We're patrolling these areas to deter criminal activity and to continue to ensure public safety. Today, we're deploying 210 officers in these impacted areas. This deployment includes our partners from LA Port PD and LAWA PD, and I'm thankful for their support. Again, protecting our homes, businesses, and evacuated and vulnerable zones are our priority, and we will continue to ensure that no one takes advantage of these situations. You've heard this message before, but I'm going to say it again because it's so important and so critical. Looting has zero tolerance. Looting or exploiting in the disaster areas will not be tolerated. Anybody caught looting or committing crimes in the affected areas will be arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. We'll remain vigilant and patrol these areas and ensure that we can mitigate any activity like this. And again, if you haven't already done so, you will start seeing in the city of Los Angeles, the National Guard being deployed at the Palisades fire. Their role is going to be traffic control, managing roadways to ensure access to affected areas is restricted to authorized personnel only. They're going to be manning critical infrastructure security, as well as doing checkpoints and verifying credentials for those for ingress and egress. And lastly, these measures controlling access, they are necessary. I just want the communities to know they are necessary for public safety and for proper community recovery. They are inconvenience, but it's something that we have to do. Residents are encouraged to call 911 if they see any suspicious activity. Law enforcement, National Guard, and other first responders are here to support this community and ensure their safety in a difficult time. Our commitment remains steadfast to restoring safety and normalcy as quickly as possible. Your cooperation and resilience from the community are greatly appreciated. Thank you. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Hochman. Thank you and good morning. The District Attorney's Office will be considering up to now 5 different types of cases that will eventually be presented from law enforcement. Let's start with arson. If it is determined that there is a man-made and intentional setting of any of the fires involved in this situation, the people who committed this arson will be arrested, they will be prosecuted, and they will be punished to the full extent of the law. Right now, obviously, law enforcement and the firefighters are focused on containing these properties, saving lives, saving homes. But eventually we will get to the causes of those fires. And in that part, the DA's office will be working with law enforcement to go after anyone who is guilty of the crime of arson. Second types of crimes. If people are going to violate this curfew restriction and they get arrested, they will be prosecuted. Let me back up what the sheriff has said. In order to protect the homes of people who've been ordered to leave those homes, the sheriff, the Los Angeles Police Department, and local law enforcement is going to be working overtime to protect your home. In that way, if you violate the curfew, you will be arrested and then you will be prosecuted by the district attorney's office. Third issue, looting. Looting is a despicable crime. For the people who've already been arrested, please know this is not going to end well. You will be punished to the full extent of the law, and I'm sending this warning message out again. If you want to take and go ahead and take advantage of people who have tragically suffered enormous losses in this county, the district attorney's office, working with law enforcement, will make sure you are arrested, you are prosecuted, and you are maximally punished. Drones. If you're thinking that it's fun to send a drone up in the area for your own amusement, or you want to get information that nobody else can get, and you do it in one of these areas that for which drones are not permitted, I'll repeat one more time. You will be arrested, you will be prosecuted, and you will be punished to the full extent of the law. And the last type of crime that we'll be looking at are scams, and we're already seeing them. We're seeing people being targeted in GoFundMe scams by people who are trying to entice people to give money to people who have suffered, when the people who are arranging this GoFundMe page are nothing but scammers. You must be aware of who you are being approached by and who you actually can go ahead and give your money to if you want to help them.
That's crazy.
We're going to see that eventually with insurance scams. We'll see it with government benefit scams. And yes,
government is
they're
scam.
going to target the people who have been tragically affected, and you cannot allow them to do it. I would suggest that if you want internet resources and who to give money to, go to recovery.lacounty.gov. It has a whole list of organizations that you can, if you want to, contribute to, and it does it in both English and Spanish. Also, you can go to the LAFD.gov's website as well. But my message to the public is beware. These scammers look at this as an opportunity. Do not let them take advantage of you. And one more message to the scammers: you will be arrested, you will be prosecuted, and you will be punished to the maximum extent possible. I'd like now to introduce California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara.
Wow, they have more men than women.
Thank you. Before I begin, I want to publicly thank the insurance commissioners from across the nation and the international insurance supervisors who have offered assistance and support during this difficult time. My heart goes out to my fellow Angelinos and to the firefighters currently battling these blazes. Let me be clear, my top priority is to protect all affected people during this crisis and assist in their insurance recovery. My primary concern at this very moment is to ensure that wildfire survivors receive the insurance benefits to which they are entitled to as soon as possible. I understand that this may be new and the extent of the calamity here in Southern California, and compounded by the insurance and financial stresses that these wildfires have caused. However, at the Department of Insurance, we have been confronting wildfires and other natural disasters throughout our entire state for a very long time, making us, unfortunately, response experts. Now is the time for you to focus on your family and on your health. The last thing you should be worrying about is your insurance. Here's what I've done to protect our wildfire victims to date. I am using my moratorium power to stop all non-renewals and cancellations. Last night, I issued a bulletin to protect homeowners affected by the Palisades and Eaton fires from non-renewals and cancellations by your insurance companies for 1 year under a moratorium law that I wrote while I was serving in the state Senate. This covers you even if your home wasn't destroyed or damaged in the wildfire. You can visit insurance.ca.gov to look up your zip code if you are near these wildfires and obtain that protection. I'm also calling on insurance companies to suspend any pending non-renewals and cancellations that homeowners received before these fires started. This means that if you've received a non-renewal from your homeowner's insurance between October 9th and January 7th, essentially 90 days, your insurance company should do the right thing and retain you as a valued policyholder. I call upon all property insurance companies to pause these non-renewals and cancellations and provide essential stability for our communities, allowing consumers to focus on what's important at the moment, their safety and recovery. In my notice, I also urged insurers to extend the payment grace period beyond the existing 60 days for policyholders in areas directly affected by the wildfires, enabling Angelenos to pay their home insurance premiums amidst the challenges that they are currently facing. And if your policy was not renewed, or if you don't have coverage, please call us at 1-800-927-4357. We can help you find additional solutions. I have also directed my department's enforcement team to protect Angelenos from fraudsters targeting wildfire survivors and to assist with the ongoing evacuation efforts.
That is
My
crazy.
department has moved quickly to host an insurance support workshop on January 18th and 19th at Santa Monica College, followed by another event the following weekend at Pasadena City College. We will have experts from our staff and representatives from insurance companies available so homeowners can obtain answers and take the action they need in one convenient location. Again, call us at 1-800-927-4357 to schedule a one-on-one appointment with our experts.
Thank you for the
Related to
super.
health, I've issued an additional notice to all California health insurers directing them to submit emergency plans to my department. These plans must detail how they're going to ensure that consumers can continue to access essential medical care and obtain their medications in the wake of these disasters. I've been in constant communication with our county leaders, governor, the legislative leaders, and our congressional delegation to identify best ways to expedite our recovery, reduce wildfire risk, and build a more climate resilient state and communities.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Making
Climate is in
homes
the
and
chat.
communities safer from wildfires needs to be a top priority for our state. Looking forward, I'm going to ask the governor and the state legislature to support my proposal to provide consumers with home hardening grants. We need to put money in people's hands. This measure is critical to protecting homes and improving long-term resilience against wildfire risk. We are also going to be introducing legislation to include businesses in our moratorium law. Businesses are an important consumer of insurance and the financial backbone of many communities, and they also need this vital protection. Newly enacted insurance reforms are now in effect to make insurance rates more stable and predictable. My sustainable insurance strategy mandates that insurance companies expand and maintain coverage in high wildfire areas if they are going to use forward-looking catastrophic models and incorporate the reinsurance cost in the rate making, which my department just finalized in December. Why is this important for our residents? It ensures that Californians in wildfire-prone areas retain access to insurance and brings competition back into the market and ultimately lowering the cost. Without these measures, insurance companies may continue non-renewals, leaving communities at greater risk of underinsurance and total loss of coverage. Even with these devastating wildfires, I want to be clear, I am confident that these reforms will keep us on track to modernizing our insurance market, encourage insurers to return and expand in California, and protect the solvency of our market. We remain the largest insurance market in the nation, fourth in the world. Our goal is to ensure they remain financially solvent and can honor the claim that will stabilize our insurance market in the long run. Now, let me just quickly address issues surrounding the insurer of last resort, which we call the FAIR Plan. It has become clear that reforms are necessary as the coverage maximums have not changed in 30 years. I recognize that for some Californians, the coverage limits, even the ones that we've already implemented, are still very low. Under my strategy, we have also ensured the creation of a stronger, more sustainable FAIR Plan with the long-term financial strategy to withstand the challenging fires we are experiencing today. Let me be clear, once the fires are brought under control, we will get data directly from the insurance industry and the FAIR Plan about claims filed, as we have on all the other fires that may or may not happen. We are focused on maintaining the FAIR Plan's financial health while getting people back to the regular market where they belong. In closing, our actions are focused on ensuring that the insurance companies meet their commitments to the consumers, that Californians are protected, not just in this crisis, but beyond. We are here to help. Please call us. We speak multiple languages in whatever language you feel comfortable. Insurance can be complicated. We are here to help you decipher your policy and help you understand what your rights are as consumers. Please call us at 1-800-927-4357, or you can use our live chat feature on our website at insurance.ca.gov. Together, we will get through this, I can assure you, and thank you.
LA County Assessor Jeff Prang.
Good morning. Right now, government is very focused on bringing these fires under control, but in the coming days, the focus will return to recovery. Initial reports suggest that 10,000 properties have been damaged or destroyed, with hundreds more likely to be discovered in the coming days. I appreciate that property taxes are not high on the list of things to worry about right now, as so many are focused on housing and safety, but financial issues will soon become a major issue for the victims of the fires. Under California law, if your property, your home or your business has been damaged or destroyed, you may qualify for property tax relief under the Misfortune and Calamity Program. This program allows my office to reduce your assessed value of your property, which is what your taxes are based upon, to reflect the damage. Here are the key details. To qualify, the damage needs to exceed $10,000, and you must file a claim within 12 months. Once filed, we will investigate and verify the claim, determine the cost to cure, and then reduce the assessed value effective the date of the damage occurred. The reduction remains in place until the property is repaired, rebuilt, or undergoes a change in ownership. It does seem clear that we may need legislative help to ensure maximum benefits to victims, and I'm glad some legislators are here today. We look forward to talking to them about making some of those fixes. The filing of this claim also facilitates coordination with the Treasurer Tax Collector's Office, allowing taxpayers who pay property taxes directly, that is not through an impound account with their mortgage lender, to defer their current year property taxes without incurring penalties or interest. We're working closely with our county partners to identify impacted properties and will assist homeowners and businesses through every step of this process. For all claims, we aim to do that, process them as quickly as possible. Once the tax roll is updated, the auditor controller will recalculate the taxes. If you're due a refund, it will be issued, or if taxes remain owed, an adjusted bill with new due dates will be sent. My staff, who's here, has handouts with a lot of the information these programs detailed. I did want to also emphasize that you should not pay anybody to access these services. My office provides them all for free, and we can be reached at assessor.lacounty.gov or at 213-974-3211. Thank you.
Thank you. U.S. Fire Administrator Dr. Lori Moore Merrill.
Good morning. Thank you. FEMA and the U.S. Fire Administration remains on the ground to support the response and recovery efforts here for these fires. And I just want to have a reminder, as the mayor said, President Biden, through a major disaster declaration, has committed to cover cost associated with these fires at 100% for 180 days. For those who are affected and individual assistance, you can go to disasterassistance.gov, or if you prefer, to call someone, speak to someone directly. It is 1-800-621-3362. Our hearts remain with those who are affected, and certainly with the firefighters who continue the fight on the front lines. Helen, I'll turn it back to you.
That was short to the point. Okay.
Closing remarks by Chair Barker.
Thank you. In closing, I just have to say that this is called One Voice, and it's one voice because while it's focused on unincorporated Altadena, and I know Palisades and Pasadena, we're working with our state and our federal partners to ensure that we are providing all the resources necessary. So I want to acknowledge people that are here today. Supervisor Holly Mitchell, our colleague who's here to support us, Pasadena Mayor Victor Gordo, Santa Monica Mayor Lana Negrete, Assembly Member Jess Gabriel, and Assembly Member Jessica Caloza, who are here. Did I miss anybody? I think that's... So again, I want to thank you all. And with that, we're going to take maybe one question because I know we've got to run out to Altadena, but go ahead.
Okay, why don't we go? Can we just, Supervisor, I'm so sorry. We'll just get a couple over here. Just 2 or 3. We'll do, by the way, we will do one-on-one interviews afterwards, okay? I will help you get the information you need. Go ahead.
Thank you. My question is for Mayor Bass. Jonathan Migliotti with CBS News. Yesterday, you asked for the public's patience as you assess the response. As you well know, then millions of people receive false alarms. It's been acknowledged here in this room that many may now be deactivating their alerts on their phones. I have heard from many people who are ignoring them altogether. We have red flag warnings still in effect. They will resume again next week. There is no rain in the forecast. What are you doing at this point to earn back people's trust and to make sure these mistakes don't happen again?
Well, first of all, I think that was addressed at the beginning of the press conference by Kevin McGowan.
I would like that from you. I don't, you're the top official here.
So let me just be clear. I am going to spend every moment that I can making sure that I am in as many areas as possible, meeting and talking to residents to see what is needed in the recovery. But I also mentioned that we're moving into recovery mode at the same time, meaning that we want to see the city rebuilt. We want to see Los Angeles come together. Let me finish. We want to see Los Angeles come together.
You are deflecting from the question. You have millions of people here who get these alerts. They are ignoring them. You still have red flag warnings in effect. There is a real threat here. What is your message to your constituents who are losing faith? You started this entire...
I want the residents of Los Angeles region to have faith in what we are doing 24 hours a day. I can say on behalf of our first responders, from the fire department, the police department, we are doing everything we can to bring the situation under control, and success has been reported. We know that we're going to have a possible increase in the force of the winds at the beginning of next week, and getting Los Angeles prepared, doing everything we can to save lives. That is our #1 job, to protect people's homes, to protect people's businesses, and to prepare to rebuild Los Angeles in a much better way. We're going to stand united. We're going to stand together, and we are not going to allow politics to interfere, and we're not going to allow people to divide us for political gain. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bass. One over here.
Bob DeCastro from Good Day LA, Fox 11. Just to follow up on that, because even after yesterday, that errant message was sent out to Los Angeles County, some 10 million people. Overnight, people were still receiving many messages, and we were even fielding calls from our own newsroom from people as far as San Bernardino that were receiving calls. You have no idea why people are getting these alerts and being startled in the middle of the night when they're already on edge in the Inland Empire. Why is that happening? You have no idea. And you also ask that people verify and get onto a website. Not everybody has the ability to jump on a website when they're panicked to try and figure out whether or not this is an actual alert.
Thank you, and I appreciate the thoughts you're sharing and the question. I would take a second to explain how the alert system works. There's an interface, and you activate that interface with what type of an alert you're going to send, an evacuation order, an evacuation warning, and you identify a geographical area. After you initiate that message package is sent into what is the Integrated Public and Alert Warning System aggregator. That then transitions, I'll call it for lack of better terms, into a cloud that connects with all of our cell service providers. The root cause analysis is trying to establish where along that sequence there is an error going on. And in addition to that, it is important to understand that the cellular phone towers have different reach in how they're activating the message to the cell phone. And so it's a common phenomenon that there's a term called bleed over, where a cell phone that may be in a different jurisdiction or a different area is receiving that message from a cellular tower that may be geographically in a different space. So right now, our number one priority is to establish how we can work with in coordination with our federal and state partners, how we can stop the messages that are going out right now that are not being initiated by a human action, to stop that, and then understand how that occurred so that the tool can still be used for what was identified as like a critical fire weather that we're still in experiencing and will continue to experience.
So can I just follow up on that? The bottom line is we are going to drill down, because I too got the alert. I got 2 alerts, and then I got an alert telling me to disregard the alerts. And, you know, as someone who has communities that are on edge, that are lined up, and I'm sure Mayor Gordo has the same situation going on as well. They're on pins and needles thinking that they're next. So we're drilling down right now. And the way it's described to me is there are towers that are now powering up, and it's up in this cloud. It's kind of like when you send an email and it goes into draft, and then once you hit internet, it gets sent. Similar, but my question is, why can't we turn it off? And the answers we're getting are not satisfying. I'm not making any excuses. It's unacceptable. And it is frustrating, because we are asking people to trust us, to believe us when we say evacuate. So if we're going to tell them to evacuate, we better make darn sure we're targeting the right people. So don't think we're taking this lightly. I'm not. And I know that my residents aren't. So I hear you loud and clear. The frustration you're hearing from me is based on the frustration I'm hearing as well from my constituents, who are asking, when we get it, is it going to be legitimate? Should we listen, or should we ignore, or disable altogether?
You know what? She sounds like the most confident one so far. I have to give her credit.
I think that's absolutely ridiculous, and I told Kevin McGowan that. To tell people to go on a website when they may not have access to an internet is absolutely absurd, and that is, quite frankly, not something that I am recommending. Obviously, for those that want to find out where the evacuation centers are, or the evacuation locations are, they can go on there, and it is an accurate map. But I'm not going to tell people, if you get the alert, go on and check. I think that we need to fix this problem, so that in fact, when an alert goes out, it is a legitimate alert that people can listen to. So I hear you. I hear that criticism. I personally, when I heard it, didn't feel that I was going to tell people, well, if you get it, just go on a website. They can, but that's not going to satisfy the frustration that people have. So I just want to make it clear to you.
Thank you, Chair Barger. We are at time. We're over time. Thank you. We will do one-on-ones. If you need assistance, please come see me or a member of the team. Thank you, speakers, again. Thank you all for attending.
Yeah.
Okay, so shout out. All right, so shout out That was good. I have to say that was good. It gave me a better understanding. And if you just jumped in, thank you so much. It looks like 30 of you all have hopped in. I ask a question to start, and I do not want you to type it in the comments yet. Do not put in the comments at all. We will come back probably later on today and do like a full deep dive, and I want to hear your thoughts. I'm probably gonna put a community post out there as well. Just think about it. Just think about it. 2025. Is 2025 going to be the year that the participation trophy leader gets exposed? Let's go look at literally from day one, not even day one, like New Year's Eve night, we had what happened in New Orleans. Then from there, we had what happened in Vegas. And if you want to use the mayor that was selling drugs, I mean, that's just craziness. And there have been so many others. And now we're looking at this total and complete disrespectful debacle that is the California fire response. Is it fair to say that participation trophy leaders are being exposed by 2025? Just a thought. Just a thought. I don't want you to respond yet. I want you to think about it. Get your evidence, get your articles, your blogs, your video responses. Get them ready. We are going to do a conversation about these empty suit leaders and how they're being exposed by 2025. 2025 is taking no prisoners. I thought 2024 was wild, but I think it's fair to say that 2025 said, hold my latte. I'm about to give you what y'all need. So the shout out to everybody that's popped in. You might not know how the fire started. And I don't know how they started. It always just boggles my mind when I hear about forest fires in California, because the stories are just so immense. Like I forgot about the story of they had a fire just literally a year ago. And just all of the intricacies when they talk about hurricane force winds in a fire. That's crazy. That is insane. You're used to hearing hurricane coupled with water, with wetness, right? Not hurricane and fire. That's craziness, right? Or hurricane tornadoes and all that kind of craziness. So let me bring this in. I think you all might enjoy this. This is just a description of how the fire actually started and what, kind of get some of those little nuanced words in that you don't hear mentioned often. So let's go.
In this video, we will take a closer look at how the California wildfires started, beginning from the Palisades region, extending through the Hollywood Hills, including the Sunset area, and progressing to the Eaton, Hearst, and Lydia fires. More than 7,500 dedicated personnel are actively involved in fighting the flames. The operation has deployed 1,162 fire engines, offering ground support to suppress and control the spread of the fire. Additionally, 31 helicopters are conducting aerial water drops, supported by 6 large water tanker aircraft, to tackle the more inaccessible and high-intensity hotspots. But most importantly, we'll look at how this all started, all in the videos ahead. Let's take a closer look at the factors contributing to the fires. To be honest, even experts have been taken aback by how rapidly these extremely dangerous fires have spread. By Tuesday night, the 7th of January 2024, 3 massive blazes had already erupted in northern Los Angeles, with more following on Wednesday. Let's examine the largest of these fires. The Palisades fire, as mentioned, began at 10:30 a.m. local time on Tuesday, January 7, 2024. This image, captured just 15 minutes after the fire was first reported, already shows its intensity from the sky. The fire quickly ballooned throughout the afternoon, raging between the beach towns of Santa Monica and Malibu. By midnight, it had consumed nearly 3,000 acres, destroying numerous buildings and homes, so many, in fact, that officials are still struggling to determine the full extent of the damage. The cause of the fires has not yet been identified. However, what we do know is that they have been supercharged by fierce, dry winds blowing in from the northeast. These winds, known as the Santa Ana winds, accelerate as they hit the mountainous terrain around Los Angeles. This can be seen in the striking bands of pink and purple on weather maps, indicating the areas affected by these devil winds. The Santa Ana winds also drastically reduce humidity levels, drying out the land and making it more flammable. With wind speeds reaching up to 60 miles per hour, these conditions are so extreme that firefighting planes have been unable to take off. Fire chiefs describe the combination of low humidity, dry soil, and strong winds as creating some of the worst fire conditions imaginable. Southern California recently experienced an exceptionally hot summer with almost no rainfall during what should now be a wet season. This map illustrates the rainfall of the past 60 days compared to the average for this period. The brown areas around Los Angeles highlight regions that have received virtually no rain, leaving the land parched and highly flammable. This combination of factors has created a dire situation for thousands of Los Angeles residents, many of whom have been forced to flee their homes. These homes, often belonging to the rich and famous, have been reduced to ashes in mere hours.
Wow.
This is the grim reality faced by Californians as they grapple with an increasingly severe and prolonged wildfire season. 7 fires are currently being tackled in California. The Palisades fire was first reported at 10:30 a.m. 1830 Greenwich Mean Time on Tuesday, January 7th. Within just 20 minutes, it grew from a 20-acre blaze to more than 200 acres. By Wednesday night, the fire had expanded to approximately 16,000 acres. At least 30,000 people have been ordered to evacuate their homes. The Eaton fire rapidly grew to cover 1,000 acres within the first 6 hours after breaking out. It started in Altadena in the hills above Pasadena at around 6:30 p.m. local time on Tuesday. By Wednesday night, the fire had spread to over 10,000 acres and 5 fatalities had been reported. The Hearst fire began burning just north of San Fernando at around 10:10 p.m. local time on Tuesday. It quickly grew to 850 acres, according to local officials, and has triggered evacuation orders in neighboring Santa Clarita. The Woodley fire broke out in Woodley Park at approximately 6:15 a.m. local time on Wednesday. According to the Los Angeles Fire Department, it has now been fully contained. The Olivas fire erupted in Ventura County, northwest of Los Angeles, and burned across about 11 acres. It's also been fully contained. The Lydia fire ignited around 2:00 p.m. on Wednesday in the mountainous Acton area north of Los Angeles. It grew to cover nearly 350 acres, and as of 9:00 p.m., had been 40% contained. The Sunset Fire broke out at approximately 6:00 p.m. in the Hollywood Hills, a residential neighborhood overlooking the historic Hollywood area. It currently spans about 50 acres and is 0% contained. A mandatory evacuation order remains in place. But there were also significant funding issues that may have hampered the firefighting efforts. A potentially leaked letter from L.A. Fire Chief Kristen Crowley, dated December 17, 2024, warned Mayor Karen Bass about the repercussions of recent budget cuts. According to the letter, the $17 million reduction in the department's budget had severely limited the department's capacity to prepare for, train for, and respond to large-scale emergencies, including wildfires. This warning highlights the critical role that sufficient funding plays in maintaining readiness for natural disasters and other emergencies. The letter raises important questions about the impact of financial decisions on public safety, especially in a state like California, which is prone to wildfires. This is the actual footage of the firefighting plane, the C-415, also called Super Scooper. It has a big advantage compared to the other tankers since it does not have to land on airports stationed far away. The operation of the CL-415 begins with the aircraft's approach to a water source. The pilot skillfully maneuvers the plane toward a suitable body of water, such as a lake or river, ensuring that the location meets the necessary criteria for safety and efficiency. The approach requires careful navigation to align the aircraft with the water surface, taking into account factors like wind direction, water depth, and surrounding terrain. Once aligned, the aircraft initiates the water scooping process. A specialized scoop integrated into the plane's underbelly is lowered onto the water surface as the aircraft glides across it. This precise action allows the scoop to collect a significant volume of water, filling the internal tank within seconds. The process is carefully monitored to ensure the tank is filled to its optimal capacity without compromising the aircraft's balance or performance. With the water tank filled, the pilot retracts the scoop and skillfully ascends, transitioning the aircraft into departure mode. The CL-415 then heads directly toward the fire, navigating challenging conditions such as thick smoke, high temperatures, and potentially turbulent air. The journey demands precise coordination and constant communication with ground crews to identify the most effective drop zone. As the aircraft approaches the target area, the water drop is executed. The pilot releases the water from the tank in a controlled manner, ensuring it directly targets the flames or the surrounding areas to suppress and contain the fire. The timing and accuracy of the drop are critical as they maximize the effectiveness of the operation while minimizing the risk of surrounding environments. Following the drop, the aircraft returns to the designated water source to repeat the process. This cycle of scooping, departing, and dropping continues as needed, showcasing the CL-415's efficiency and reliability in aerial firefighting. The entire operation is a testament to the aircraft's specialized design and the expertise of its crew working tirelessly to combat fires and protect communities. We make original videos from scratch, so please do subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos.
Okay, that was super informative. I ain't gonna even lie. That was way more informative than I thought. Shout out. That was called AI Telly. Let me drop that link in the chat just so y'all can have it. That was super informative. I'm sitting there nerding out about a super scooper. I don't even know what that is. Oh, I didn't know what it was before, but now I know. Shout out to yeah, they need to invest in a whole lot more of those. But I didn't know when these fires started. Let me give you a little background. In church on Sunday, my pastor's wife is from California. So they have ties in California. During the sermon, he made an illustration about forest fires. And he talked about how, I don't remember what fire he was referring to, but he was talking about how it took forest firefighters, so many days, and they only got like 1% of the fire contained. But when it actually started raining, the fire was done away with in less than 2 hours. And the whole point was just talking about how God's power ultimately it supersedes all of our efforts and such of that nature. And I just thought it was funny because I'm like, Joel literally talked about that on Sunday, and we're watching it right here in real time. How these people, they're trying their best, they're fighting this fire as best they can. Now, I do think that something needs to be said about better efforts ahead of time. And that's why I asked y'all about the participation trophy leadership. Because I think there's a lot of hay that can be made about participation trophy leadership. Because no, you can't ultimately mitigate a fire. You couldn't do it. We couldn't, just like we can't stop tornadoes and hurricanes and earthquakes. We can't. But can things be done to properly prepare and such like that? Like when you reduce your fire department's power store abilities, oh Lord, I mean, they are outside. These girls cannot stay out of these streets. This is the third girl to come in my office, bundled up, looking like the little brother from A Christmas Story. Now they're going outside. One is went sledding down the hill, and then she went walking to her little friend's house. Now, Chief Executive and Lady Dearworld Christian are going outside to play. Look, okay, y'all knock yourselves out. Okay, I'm. They really want me to come outside and record them. They're crazy. Now, see, this is what I'm talking about. That issue right there, that's a man-made problem. And I really hope Californians get their heads out of their posteriors and stop voting for these power-drunk, insane ideologues and start thinking about themselves. The fact that you're shuttling all of this water into the ocean in order to protect smelt or whatever it was called, smelt the fish, is preposterous. That's ludicrous. But y'all keep electing them. Gavin Newsom should have been kicked out. Karen Bass needs to be kicked out. If you don't literally flip all of these people, that's on y'all. The fact that there's no water in the water hydrants is nasty work. And you can't, and I'm waiting for somehow or another. I'm waiting. As sure as my name is Jason, somehow or another, they're going to try to blame it on Trump, Republicans. Somehow or another, they're going to try to. But I can't wait to see how they try to finagle it and finesse it and say, oh, it's Trump's fault. I can't wait. I can't wait. And if you didn't see it, I'll drop the we looked at another YouTuber who is from California. He did a really good docuseries on this response. And he showed, like, during the last during Trump's administration, the last fire that they had in Cali, Trump talked about this problem, about the fact that y'all are worried about smelt and not about the people. Craziness, crazy work. What and you know, I saw a content creator say that they can't use water from out of the ocean because of salt water. And I thought about it. I was like, hold on, wait. Salt water, that is true. Salt water is not good for the ground. It'll create more problem. It'll create, growth problems later on. But I thought about it. I was like, wait, hold on. I don't think that's true. I don't think that was true. And I see with the super scooper, I think he's extracting that water out of the ocean. Not sure he could lakes and rivers as well, but I think they're using that super scooper out of the ocean. And the only reason I bring that up is because we got to be careful where we get our information from. But shout out, this website is pretty dope, man. I'm glad I found it because I needed some information, and they dropped some information on your boy, and I always appreciate good information.
See if that satisfies the people.
Let's look at one more, and then maybe I will go out. Yeah, it's better than no water, and even if salt water on the surface, I mean, the shore is going to impede me growing my zoysia sod, right? It's going to impede me from growing my ornamental palm trees. But guess what it'll also do? It'll put down a fire, and I'm gonna take that over. What is the other option available? Letting the fire just run amok because we ain't got no water in our water hydrants because the imperial smart people didn't fill them up. I'm good. I'm good. I will be okay if I'm not able to grow my zoysia. What kind of grass I got? I got Bermuda. If I can't grow my Bermuda because y'all done put out the fire that was about to destroy my whole neighborhood with seawater, you know what? I'll be okay. I'll get out there and I'll pick the salt out of the ground because I'm glad that my house is still here. My neighbor is still here. My hood is still here. I'm good. I'm just saying, yo, this is, please, California. So I got another video I want to bring in, but I'm proposing this thought. Is 2025 exposing these terrible, horrible leaders? Now, some of them have been exposed. They were getting exposed in 24. But we're literally only 10 days into this year. And it's almost every day another leader is being exposed as being a sham. And we haven't even got on the fire department in LA. I got some videos on them. I might bring that in just because that video that she did was so bad. But here, let's look at Mayor Bass. Let's look at Mayor Bass.
See if that satisfies the people of California. Trace Gallagher, our chief breaking news correspondent and anchor at Fox News at Night, of course, which is based in Los Angeles, joins us now from Pacific Palisades, where he will be hosting Your World at 4:00 Eastern. Trace, I wonder what your take is from your reporting on the ground in response to what people are hearing from Mayor Karen Bass, who says basically, well, we're doing the best we can and people will be held accountable in the after report.
I mean, people are offended. The people we talk to, Martha, are kind of offended by that. They keep hearing Karen Bass, who, by the way, was in Ghana when the worst of this was going on. They keep hearing the mayor saying, listen, this was all about the wind. This was all about the wind. And we didn't prepare for this. And couldn't fight this. And people are like, no, you didn't have just wind. You didn't have water. And you didn't have firefighters to spray that water. And had you had planning and more water and fire hydrants that were checked and worked, you could have saved a lot more houses. You're not going to save all the houses, but you could have saved more. So you talk to the people in and around Pacific Palisades, and they are angry at the response. It doesn't matter what your political affiliation is. People here are angry at the response. It's interesting, Martha, when you look around the Pacific Palisades, we've been covering disasters for 38 years. And when you get to a scene, the first thing that TV news crews always do is they look for the hardest hit area so they can show people the extent of the damage. Look at the Palisades here as we walk around. This is block after block, house after house, street after street, block after block looks just like this. I mean, I would estimate that 60% of this town, Martha, is absolutely gone. And there's no exceptions except for one. It's this bizarre anomaly where you walk around here and you see, as we got a car coming here, so you see this one house right here amid blocks and blocks and blocks of destroyed homes. We can't find a burn mark on this house, not a single burn mark.
Amazing.
And if you go in the backyard, Martha, you'll find you look across the fence and it's up on a hill, so you can see all this area where the homes are just destroyed as far as you can see, and you have one standing. So it's weird how this thing came by, the flames, where they hit and where they didn't hit. But what's fascinating really about this story to me, as somebody from California, is the total lack of preparation. We have fires every single year, many times a year. It's been happening for thousands of years and hundreds of years. The people have lived in Los Angeles, and the people you talk to here in Palisades are upset that the preparation level was not what it should be. They pay a lot of taxes. They pay the highest taxes in the country. They pay the highest gas taxes. They pay a lot of the highest things, and the preparation and what they got in return for their tax dollars is not what they expected, Martha.
Well, I mean, it just makes me think about Florida and the hurricanes that come every single year and the preparation that the governor there puts in place. People seem to feel pretty good about how ready their state is for an event they know is going to be repeated time and time again. I just want to read this, Trace. This is moments ago from President-elect Trump. And he's been going after the governor of California pretty hard. And he says that the governor, he calls him Gavin Newsom, should immediately go to Northern California and open up the water main and let the water flow to his dry, starving, burning state instead of having it go out to the Pacific Ocean. It ought to be done right now. No more excuses from this incompetent governor. It is already far too late. Can you explain, what your understanding is of that situation as a resident of California and a reporter, Trace?
Sure, he limited the water. What happened is that the state of California limited the water that comes from Northern California and beyond down to Southern California to protect a fish that doesn't need a lot of water. So they limited the water flow that comes down here. And more importantly, Martha, more than a decade ago, the people of California voted and they passed a proposition, a measure to retain, to capture the water, to build more reservoirs. And they started taking money to do that. It's been more than a decade, not a single reservoir has been built. So the water capacity is the same. The water reservoirs are full around the state because we had very wet years for the past couple of years, but you can't get that water, and the water is not allocated in Southern California.
It's incredible. That I guess that's what elections are for. That's cold comfort, though, to people who have lost their homes right now. Trace, thank you very, very much for your reporting, and we'll see you at 4:00. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe.
Yeah, this is not going to go well. This is not going to go well at all. I'm not going to pull that other video in right now. But this is horrible. But again, like, it's just a preparation. And I see somebody saying, like, they wouldn't have been able to fill all of it, which is I totally get that. But at least at some point you say, hey, you know what? We keep having this same situation happen. Maybe we need to build a reservoir. Maybe we need to build a better aqua system. I don't know, whatever the words are. Maybe we need to get some run a fire hose from Northern to Southern California. Just something. If he's saying that they've been collecting money for 10 years and they haven't made any improvements, like any improvement, anything. Like we built a pond. We have a retention pond over here. At least something that you could say, okay, we're making progress with the money that we've been collecting. And that's where I'm saying. Okay, the fire. Oh, wait, hold on. The fire hydrants are on. Sorry about this. My eyeballs are going crazy. You ever your eyeballs go crazy? That's me. My eyeballs are going crazy. The fire hydrants are on drinking water system. Even when you have an abundance of water, you cannot get enough to where it is needed. That's fine. All I'm saying is that the only if the fire hydrants are on drinking water system, that's the only reason they didn't have enough water. If that's what the case is, then okay, then I guess they let it burn. I don't think that's the case, though. I think most of us agree that's not the problem. The problem is not that fire hydrants are on. Did they have these reservoirs? Where are the reservoirs? If you've been collecting money for 10 years, some excess of billions of dollars, where's the reservoirs? Why is that not being known? Crazy. This is craziness, man. This is so wild to see. And let me look at something joyous. I have no idea why my eyeball is going crazy. I might have to pull a video in because my eyeball is not wanting to act right. I might have to do that. All right, what I'm gonna do, and let's look at today's just weather day. We're just doing weather. We're just talking about the weather. We might come back later on and talk about this. Oh my gosh, look at Georgia. Okay, I see you, Georgia. Y'all want to see this? This is crazy. You know what? That's down the street from my house. I live down the street from Truist. Oh, I didn't bring it in. Sorry about that. Wow. Okay, Georgia, we just stay doing wrong. Okay. Yeah, that's literally down the street from my house. Okay, I live down the street from Truist. Okay, so this is I-75. And it clearly all those trucks that you see right there on the left, that is they are exiting I-75 South to go onto 285. So 285 must be a mess for all those trucks to be sitting there. Oh my gosh. This road right here, this little bridge, it's got these little loops right here. That's called Windy Hill. Windy Hill Road. Wow. Georgia, we stay failing. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's a little bit more snow than I anticipated, but it doesn't look like, and this is 75 going north. You see the trucks going north, and then there's 75 going south. They look like they're driving at a pretty nice speed. So clearly the freeze must not be happening. All right, let me go find out what's happening on I-85. I'm sorry, 285Y. This this is craziness, man. I literally hear my kids and my wife outside. I don't know if they're throwing snow or what. They're crazy. Okay, so that is, and of course, it never fails that there's going to be people driving around doing the newscast.
What we are
from the
looking
car.
at, quite a few cars out here have gotten stuck already. In fact, my photographer Joseph Johnson and I just passed a car that was being pushed out of the road. And just to give you an idea of what we're seeing, at one point, Joseph and I had to get off because we had to clean our windshields, get the car ready so we could get back out here and tell everybody what was happening. And there was a truck that was driving in front of us. In the tread under where those truck tires were was ice underneath of the snow already. So just to give you an idea of what we're seeing, these are not the kind of conditions people should be driving in. A few people in front of us are taking it slow, but I have to tell you, it is not an easy drive at all. You can't see a lane. You can't always necessarily see the tread of where the car in front of you was driving. So people should be very, very careful if you are going to be out here. But again, do not recommend it. And we also got that notification from GDOT not too long ago warning people about the roads as well. So we're going to continue to stay out here, let you know what's going on. And of course, we are going to be driving very slowly ourselves. Still heading westbound on I-20 here. We'll come back to you in a little bit.
Oh, that's where they are, 20.
All right, Karis, you guys stay safe. And that is the
Go
speed.
home.
You see what they're doing right there? Very mindful. Very mindful. These are the speeds we are talking about if you are going to be out on the road.
Go home. Why are you even out there? That's my question. Why are you out there? For real. Oh, just go home. Oh my gosh, this is pretty now. Hold on. The scene has actually got pretty now. Hold on, let me bring this back in. Shout out to Atlanta News First. They be always helping your boy out. Look at that. Wait, let me back that up a little bit so y'all can see my pretty little city. All right, so that's Truist. Like literally, that's the baseball park. So that must be on. I didn't realize, I've never noticed that there's a tower that tall next to Truist. There's like hotels that they've built around the stadium. So like you can see the game from your hotel room almost. That's crazy. But yeah, for sure. I love Atlanta News First. They are definitely my people. They are my people. I like Atlanta News First. Hold on. There we are. Okay, now where is this? That is pretty. Let me get this out of the way. Where is that? Oh, okay. This is 285 and Georgia 400. That's what this is. Oftentimes you hear this called, we have several of them, but this is definitely a spaghetti junction. Yeah, that's where this is. This is, wow. You never think about it when it's dry or even when it's rainy, but when it's snowy, it just looks so different. Wow. Let me let it play. Yeah, shout out to that. Yeah, this is 285 and Georgia 400. That looks like just and then of course this is Hartsfield Jackson International Airport coming up. Oh, they show Hartsfield for 1 second. All right, so let's jump. I'm gonna, while we're doing that, and I'm figuring out my crazy eye. And by the way, if you wanted to learn a little bit more about how the fires in California started, this was a quick video that we looked at. It's about 8 minutes long. It is super informative, and I thought it was really helpful. So I just dropped the link for it right here if you want to check it out. We just looked at it a moment ago, and it gave us a lot of information that I think helped us out understand these fires and where they came from, how they got started, all that kind of good jazz like that. All right. I'm looking at this, still looking at this thing. I'm a little bit impressed with the Georgia 400 map. Let me see real quick. Oh, that's Centennial Park. If you ever wonder what Centennial Olympic Park looks like downtown Atlanta, that's it. Shout out to that. All right. So we're going to get out of the frosty weather. We're going to jump back over. Wait, you get a foot of snow and no humidity. How's that work? All right, let me bring myself back in here. All right, let's get into some dicey topic for a second. Y'all, this woman literally said this. So this is the fire chief.
Want to see somebody that
This is the fire chief of California, and this is part of the pushback that they've been getting. I have to admit, I never thought that in the event of an emergency, I needed to see somebody that represented me, aka a black guy, rescue me. I can't imagine. I've never thought of that. That's never been a thought. But we're gonna save this again. Let me bring this back in. Big screen, big screen. Thank you so much to everybody who's just tapped in and a lot of people just jumping in. We've been jumping around. Georgia is snowing in Georgia and it's burning in California. Okay. And I apologize. I started that, but then I want to jump back. I want everybody to do me a favor. I want you to just think about this thought. I do not want you to comment on it yet. So this is an activity where I just want you to just think about it, noodle it, maybe write down on a napkin, talk about it, but we're going to come back and talk about it. Is 2025 exposing the participation trophy leader? We're only 10 days into this year, and it's almost been a daily occurrence. Definitely every day and a half, maybe every 2 days. Something has come up where you see a leader that is totally inept. Now, California is getting the spotlight today, but remember New Orleans? Remember that the police chief in New Orleans? We had a mayor get arrested for selling drugs just literally last week. I mean, and so many other things. So I just want you to think about it. I want to come back and maybe we'll do a live stream later on today, even to say like 2025 is not playing games, and it is showing up this false narrative of selecting leaders. And this leader right here, the police chief lady, listen to what she talks about. It is preposterous. And then think about what's happening in California right now. Okay, let's go.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Wow. Wow. Now, please understand, if you're new to Dear Woke Christian, my name is Jason. I give social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective. I am married to a black woman. I have two little, I hesitate to call them kids anymore. I got two rising black women daughters. I live here in Atlanta. I do carry controversial views, and I've never actually spent a lot of time in this particular space, but I think this is part of what we're seeing in 2025. This person should not be a firefighter. She shouldn't. This person should not be a firefighter. Can you imagine if a man said, "Oh, your wife is too big. She got herself in the wrong spot"? Can you imagine a man said that? Can you? Okay, like, straight man, straight white Republican Christian man says, "Oh, is he strong enough to drag my wife out?" Sir, your wife is too big. She done got herself into the wrong situation. Can you imagine that? I'm gonna play this one more time.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Let a dude say that. Let a guy say that. Let a guy say that. That's all I'm gonna say. Just let a guy say, "Well, your wife got herself in the wrong position if I have to drag her out of a fire or got her out of a world." Okay, I know this is a controversial thought, and a lot of people are not going to like it. And I'm going to ask you to, before you jump into the comments, I just want you to stop and think about it. I know we've come out of this, and I'm saying come out of because a lot of people are realizing that we have been in bizarro world for the last 4, maybe 5, maybe a decade. We've been in bizarro world. And this is a hot take. Guys are different than girls. Maybe I need to bring in that, was it Arnold Schwarzenegger in Kindergarten Cop, where the little boy says, boys have Johnsons and girls have, right? Okay, remember that? I don't want YouTube. I don't know what YouTube is doing today. I don't know what they on today. But I'm just saying, guys are different than girls. That's just it. And there's good reason, because God in his infinite wisdom made women different than men for good reason, for very good reason. And I tell people all the time, we've spent 40 years saying anything you can do, I can do better. And now they actually believe that. And now it's almost like ingrained into the fabric of little girls' minds that they can do whatever. You can't. I don't care. This chick right here is not going to be able. I'm sorry. I don't care what you tell yourself. She is not going to be able to effectively outmatch a man. Now, will she outmatch every man? It's possible. Maybe, a little scrawny World of Warcraft player, she might be able to outmatch him. But most men on that team, she's not outmatching them. It's just reality. It's not, I'm sorry. There's no other way around it. So that being the case, the notion, the idea that this woman is the same, hold on, where is she? Right here, that she is the same as a man, same age, and she's a big girl. She's a big human. So a man of that size and a woman of that size, I'm sorry, is not the same. So my controversial statement here, starting 2025 off with a bang, is that we need to return in real time. You are in my mind. I'm gonna go off on a tangent in a second, and it's gonna be called the real time tangent. So let me put a little star by that. I'm gonna go on a point here. The reason we are seeing some of the errors and the hiccups in our society today is because we won't tell the truth. This woman is not the same as a man. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Anything that you're saying about me right now, maybe you're about to type into the comments, is totally irrelevant. That woman is not the same as a man. And let's just be honest, because I've been watching a lot of body cam footage. Just, I don't know why, it's become like a little guilty pleasure to watch body cam footage. There are instances where I've seen women attempt to do remove somebody from a car, a non-compliant person out of a car. And I've seen men have very little problem doing it. Very little problem. It could be a big burly man or a scrawny woman. It could be a big burly woman or a scrawny man. Men very rarely have issue getting a man out of a car on the ground, arms behind your back, and cuffed up. I've seen maybe one, maybe two women, because they don't even show them because they don't go well. Because women are not able to. I'm not trying to even be funny. I'm not trying to be rude about it. But if I were in a car and not complying, my wife and daughters would not be able to get me out of the car. And they're pretty nice sized women. They wouldn't be able to get me out of the car. If I decide I wasn't going to get out of the car, they're not getting me out that car. It'd be three of them. They wouldn't get me out that car. No way. It's just not going to happen. Now, a police officer is well trained. They got a lot more knowledge on their in their repertoire. They got the taser, they got the pepper spray. Before you introduce pepper spray, you're not getting me out that car. That's just it. That's just it. And I've watched guys take 2 and 3 taser shots and not be phased. So I don't even know if tasers are even a thing. Like, I don't like, whoa, that was crazy. So back to my point. I think what we're seeing here in California, what we're seeing in other key areas is, again, that participation trophy idea. And we're not going to start because I'm going to save a lot of it. I'm going to save a lot of my participation trophy argument for the participation trophy show. And we might do that tonight. We might literally do a live stream about participation trophies, leadership. But This woman right here is proof positive that, and watching what's happening in California in real time, we're watching it together, we're all seeing it. I do think we need to have an honest conversation that women are different. They're different. You do have some outliers that are super alpha, whatever. But at the end of the day, women are different than men. And this notion that they have right here, that only 5%, I think I read that they were trying to increase, only 5% of working firefighters are women. Let me ask you a question. Is that bad? 100% of moms are women. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. 100% of males with working Johnsons are men. Just saying. I mean, God in his wisdom knows what he's doing. So why do we have to believe that we can make something, a situation different and better than what God intended? God maybe never intended for women to be firefighters, or maybe 5% is exactly what God intended. Why does it need to be a 50-50? Can you imagine 50% of firefighters were women? I'm comparing apples to oranges. Okay, tell me where I'm at. I'm open to being wrong. Y'all know the hitman don't mind being wrong. How am I comparing apples to oranges? Which, by the way, I do have an interesting video from the Orange Bowl queued up, and you brought up oranges. Go figure. That's funny. Oh, tell me where I'm wrong. Yo, Georgia is wilding out. Hold on, we got like. Let me bring this snowstorm back in real quick. Yo, I think this is just condensation on the lens. I don't think it's snowing. Well, I don't know. Those cars are moving kind of slow. When was this? Those cars are moving kind of slow. Maybe it really was that snowy. Harriet, don't forget now. Jump on in and let me know what I'm missing. There might be some snow on the lens, but because those cars look like they're moving okay. I have no idea where this is in Atlanta. And they don't have, we have traffic cams all around the city. And sometimes they actually have like their location posted, but I think this is because it's Atlanta News First. They've trimmed that out, or they don't have to have that. I don't know. That is wild though. Okay. Shout out to Atlanta. Why y'all out there in that traffic? Go home, people. Just go home. I'm looking to see if I can find out why 285 was looking crazy earlier. Too much to type. You talk in a slippery slope. Hey, women are different. How about this one? Would you like to jump on? Women are different than men. That's a reality. That's a biological fact. Women are different than men. We can talk about how women's brains develop. We can talk about muscle structure. We can talk about hormones. We can talk about, come on. Women are different than men. That's not that should not be a controversial thought. I think that's chief executive, second born. You said women are 100%. I said 100% of mothers are women. I just said 100%. So there's a difference. Hey, Bird, how are you? You have fun? Yeah. I love it. You put your friends in a bag. Go put your friends in a bag and go forth. Okay. Toodles, have fun. Okay, I said 100% of mothers are women. So there's an imbalance there. You can't have a dad be a mom. It just doesn't work. So you can't be a mother, of course, but they both can be great parents. I don't know who said anything about parents. No offense, Harriet, but nobody said anything about the value of your parenting. I think I'm a pretty great dad for the most part, even though they want me to go outside right now, and I don't feel like going outside. My point is 100% of moms are women. 100% of dads are men. That's all I'm saying. Well, I don't know. I didn't say anything about the value thereof. No, then if I'm missing a point, you gotta have to come on because I'm not understanding it. Like I told you, my eyeball was going crazy, my glasses on here. I'm not saying the value of the individual. I'm not saying the efficacy of their desire to protect lives. But I will say that this woman right here, right here, I'm not saying that she doesn't want to protect lives. I'm not saying that she doesn't care about the value of the community. I'm just saying that she is not going to be able to do the same things that a man in her position would be able to do. That's all. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't understand even where that came from. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I was talking too fast. You know what? I will take the responsibility and say that I don't think I said that though. I really hope. Maybe we need to rewind the tape, Jason. Maybe Jason said that. Maybe I said that parenting. I don't even know where parenting came into the conversation, but okay, whatever. And they're gonna be out there. It's gonna be snowing all day, though. Truth be told. Well, I was trying to give the benefit of the doubt, but I agree with you, Costa Chameleon, 100% for sure. Yeah, I don't think this should not be a controversial topic. Bone density, blood volume, lung capacity, brain size, all those things are different. They're just different. That doesn't mean that you can't do things. It just means that we are made differently. Okay. Yeah, I don't. Okay. I don't like arguing in the comment section, so I'll just leave it alone. Oh yeah, you know what? You can make sure you email management. You can always email management. That's a great way. Thank you so much, Hawk, for reminding me. Email management. Let them know. And again, I'm going to bring my evidence and why I make that claim. I've made several claims already, so I think you already know where I'm landing on this topic. So, but we'll just keep. Oh, y'all, we got y'all. I like what you said. Love's disappointed father. Y'all, Georgia. We always going Georgia. We always going Georgia. Look at this. Look at this craziness.
Not everybody paying attention to stay off. If you just necessarily have to be out there, we want to make sure you're doing it safely. Jerry Carnes is keeping an eye on multiple wrecks, multiple vehicles stuck. Jerry,
go home.
Not slowing down anytime soon for you.
It's just too much to keep up with. We want to show you the situation at the Cobb Cloverleaf. This just speaks volumes about the situation on the roadways today and why you should stay.
Okay, so this is why that line of traffic that we saw earlier was looking so crazy. Oh, okay. And he actually has, see, that's what we need right there. The cam. Okay, so this is at Windy Ridge Parkway, also known as Windy Hill, Windy Ridge Parkway. Okay, I see where they are now. So the 18-wheeler has had a wreck, and that's what that line of traffic was. Okay, let's go.
At home and off of the roadways. This is the transition ramp from I-75 southbound to I-285. Look at that. You got trucks parked there, police blocking the ramp, snow blocking the ramp, a multi-vehicle crash, GDOT tells us, involving several cars. That's what has the ramp blocked, and it's all due to the snow. So stay away from that area altogether. GDOT also tells us they've had people calling and complaining because the ramp is blocked. Folks, we've been telling you about this for days. We've been begging you to stay off the roadways. You can't complain when you run into exactly what we told you you were going to face. GDOT is out trying.
That's the most Georgia comment. Oh, y'all, that's the most. I got to back that up. I'm gonna back that up because he that is so Georgia. That is a proverbial bless your heart. Okay, from a man. That was a man version of bless your heart. Okay, let's do it one more time.
Away from that area altogether. GDOT also tells us they've had people calling and complaining because the ramp is blocked. Folks, we've been telling you about this for days. We've been begging you to stay off the roadways. You can't complain when you run into exactly what we told you you were going to face. GDOT is out trying their best to clear these roadways, but it's just too much everywhere. So the Cobb Cloverleaf, I-75 southbound ramp to I-285 in both directions, that is completely blocked. Okay, I'm going to try to run through this quickly and bring you the worst of the situations. Clayton County is still a hot spot, wrong word on a day like today, but crashed both 75 northbound and southbound at Mount Zion Boulevard, has multiple lanes blocked and the snow is falling there. Another crash. This is the downtown connector, the exit ramp to Fulton Street. We were looking at that just a few minutes ago and snow covered the roadway there. So that exit ramp from the downtown connector to Fulton Street is blocked. Another accident, left lane blocked on I-285 northbound at Glenwood Road and back to the Cobb Cloverleaf. What a complete mess. And I haven't even looked at the surface streets. I've been focused on the interstates. The surface streets are going to be even worse because they're not going to get the treatment that you see on the interstates and all those interstate overpasses and ramps. So just a big mess. If this site alone doesn't convince you to stay home today, I don't know what else I can do.
I mean, the traffic people are frustrated. Go home, Georgia. Y'all just type go home, Georgia in the chat. You don't need to be out here. Go home, Georgia. Go home. There's no reason. There's no reason. I said I was going to, usually when we have these events, I'm like, I got to go get my coffee. I got to go get my whatever. I'm like, man, I better stay my little brown head right here at this crib. No, I'm not going nowhere. I'm a little bit mad that President Firstborn went down the street 2 blocks. She walked and took a sled, but look. Right. What? Go home, Georgia. What are we doing? Now, I'm not mad. Look, there's some people that got to go to work, but they've been shutting schools down since Wednesday. Okay. The major school districts were closing down definitely by Thursday. You knew it. You were not coming to school on Friday. So what? Sure, there might be an Amazon employee out there. You got to get to work. She got to go deliver. Okay, fine. But unless you really, go home, stay at the crib. Why? For the life of me, I've never understood that. And hear me, I've done it, so I don't understand my own self as well. I'm equally not understanding, and I'm not understood. So there's that craziness. What is Mayor Dinkins talking about? Oh my gosh.
Mayor Andre Dick.
Okay, this is gonna be the last one. He over here talking about it. Oh, this is before it got. Oh, this is not bad. Okay, let's bring it in real quick. Shout out to Atlanta News First. Y'all know I like Atlanta News First. They're my peoples.
Dickens on the line with us right now, FaceTime. Mayor Dickens, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, good to see you. You are all bundled up in your jacket, ready to go. Tell us a little bit about the city of Atlanta preparations. I was on the roadways yesterday, saw that some had been, the brine had already come down. So certainly the city has been planning for this event.
Yeah, absolutely, Tracy. Thank you. We really took this seriously. We planned ahead. The Atlanta Department of Transportation got out there the last couple of days and did a salt and brine mix, preparing the roads so that the snow and ice would have less to stick to, so that we could be prepared to come plow it, which is what we're doing now. We have primary streets and priority 1 streets and then priority 2 streets. Priority 1 streets are those main thoroughfares, especially those that are around our hospitals so that emergency vehicles can get in and out, around our fire stations, police stations, senior facilities, et cetera, and our main roads in the city. And so in coordination with Georgia DOT, Atlanta DOT, Public Works, we're all working together. We also I'm here right now at the Joint Operations Center. That's what's behind me is, a few dozen people that are from all the various departments, police, fire, 311, 911. All of us have been here overnight coordinating, getting prepared for snow and wintry mix so that we can keep the roads safe, but also keep the citizens safe in case of any other emergencies. Luckily, we don't have many power lines down and those things, but we got Georgia Power here just in case. So we were prepared, and we're not out of the woods yet. We're continuing to work hard and stay in contact with people like you, the media, because we know you guys can get the message out clearly to stay off the roads. We don't need people in cars on the roads while emergency vehicles and DOT vehicles are out there trying to do their job.
Mayor Dickens, we know the temperatures are expected to drop, and that's going to cause some problems, could cause some problems with ice on the roads. What are your biggest concerns as we head into the afternoon and the early evening hours, and how are you addressing them?
Yeah, two things are a little bit of a concern. One is the confidence that people get because we're all saying things are going well, and they are going well. But we don't want you to say, "Hey, now I can go out there and drive since I see nobody out there." Right? There's still.
We love
and the
doing
second
that.
thing is it's hilly. Atlanta's very hilly, so once this ice, once this snow could potentially turn into ice as it freezes, a lot of us live on hills. Driveways are
I live
on
on a
hills,
mountain.
and people. Right now, the only 911 calls that we have are from people who have hit a pole or hit a mailbox or a parked car or a few fender benders. And so we're seeing people driving in too small vehicles. If you don't have an all-wheel drive vehicle or if you're not used to driving in the snow and it's not a
None of us are.
necessary trip, just don't take it. Yes, we've done our preparation of the roads, but it's not perfect. It's not every single street, particularly those back roads, the smaller streets that are, it's just difficult. So we're asking that everyone stays put, especially as nightfall comes and some of these roads could get icy and sidewalks as well as driveways. Don't take any unnecessary trips tonight or in the morning, and stay connected to your news broadcast and the City of Atlanta's social media.
And Mayor Dickens, you live in Atlanta. You've been here all your life, worked with the city of Atlanta before as a city councilman before you became mayor. As we know here in Atlanta, no two events like this are alike. Is there something you feel like that we learn from each one? Of course, everybody looks back to Snowmageddon, but we've had other events since then.
Yeah, so Snowmageddon is something we never want to repeat. 2014 was 10 plus years ago, and we don't want to go back to that day. So as a city council member, I created the Atlanta Department of Transportation after watching us as a city not be prepared for that. And so now we have a DOT within the city, and their focus is on our roads, our sidewalks, our bridges, and our bike lanes, et cetera. So they are totally focused on making sure that we're safe and reduce car crashes, pedestrian crashes. So part of this is just being more thoughtful, more prepared, utilizing new systems. And the other thing is utilizing communications and working from home. We got the message out. We coordinated with the governor, with the school systems, and Grady and Fulton County, and we all said it's best for us to close. I being a native of Atlanta growing up, I used to look for these snow days. I would watch your news broadcast and look for Atlanta Public Schools to come across the screen.
Come on.
And it used to be 4 a.m. before Atlanta Public Schools would close schools. Not this time. We all were early so people could get prepared. And so the city was at the right posture to not have to deal with as much. And so we're thankful that we got ahead of this and, folks can work from home and have a good snow day.
Mayor Dickens, as we move into the afternoon and the possibility of some power outages, of course, that's got to be a major concern. You talked about the city getting some 911 calls from folks who have run into some problems on the roads. What do you recommend? What should people do in the event that they
Go
lose
home.
power or they have issues later on in the day as we get into the evening hours?
Stay in the crib.
Great question. Very important. Right now, continue to charge your devices. Charge your phones, charge your tablets. Those of you that have medical equipment, please charge your portable chargers, your uninterruptible sources of batteries. Those things, charge them in the event that we do have a power outage. Make sure you have enough water in your refrigerator in case that there's a water outage. I like to be prepared, to be resilient. We hope none of those things happen. but we do want to be prepared. And if they do happen, if a tree limb was to fall or a tree falls because of the weight of the snow and ice and the ground being saturated, we have Georgia Power right here. They've been with us overnight and they're here now. We're coordinated with them. We will go out. We have our forestry team with the city of Atlanta. We have our firefighters that are also able to they have chainsaws, and we also have our outside crews and Georgia Power. So we, have learned a lot from the hurricane that was a few months ago, and we're prepared now for this. We do what we call tabletop exercises, where our emergency preparedness people put us through the ringer. What would you do first, Mayor? What would you do next, COO? What would you do, Chief? And so we are hopeful that those preparations have led to good results here and throughout the region.
Well, we heard from the governor earlier this morning that his people are working very well with City of Atlanta officials. And so it's great to see the cooperation between the city and the state. And we wish you and your team the very best as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. Mayor Dickens, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Continue to spread the word, to stay off the roads, and continue to watch the news to know when it's time that you can get back out. And yes, we will stay coordinated with everyone. Thank you,
sir.
All right. Type in the chat. Go home, Georgia. Go home. Stay out of just go home. Just go to the crib. Stay home. Just go home, people. Wait. We were told, we called in, we would be wrote up, and we were, no, after so many write-ups, you get fired. So we do what we do. Okay, I got you. And if that be the case, but when I was a school teacher, we was loving the snow day. Okay, we see your name, your school district run across the bottom of that screen and say, no school, delayed. Well, I hated delayed start, but no school, perfect. But loved it, especially on a Friday. That means you had 3-day weekend. Sign me up for that. Yo, but hey, shout out to Mayor Dinkins. I don't agree with him on a lot of the ways that he's handling things and problems in Atlanta. But in this regard, I'm willing to say, hey, right here, it looks like he's crushing it. So shout out to Mayor Dinkins for sure. I really appreciate y'all tapping in with me. Okay, I think I'm gonna come back tonight. I think I'm going to tonight. We can have a conversation about whether or not inept leaders are participation trophy leaders are being exposed in 2025. And I'm not saying there's like some grand conspiracy, but it's just a lot of people who are in places and positions of leadership are being shown to not really be leaders. I mean, look at Karen Bass and tell me that if you were, what do they call him, Angelino? If you were Angelino, would you be feeling confident in her leadership? That's all I'm asking. But I'm gonna probably come back on this afternoon. I'll let you know. I'll send a thumbnail in a community post, let y'all know, because they chomping at the bit to get your boy outside and go play in the snow. So if you could hit the like button on the way out. Thank you so much, every last one of y'all, for tapping in. Thank you so much for the comments. Shout out to all of you all. If you are, of course, in California, or you have family members or loved ones that are affected by what's going on in California, our prayers are for them as well, that Lord will be gracious to them and maybe even send them some rain. Like just, Lord, just drop them a 20-minute rainstorm. That would probably fix a lot of their problems. But we're definitely praying for y'all. Pray for us here in Georgia that we go home, stay in the crib. Look, I live on a slope, so I'm gonna walk out to the front yard, throw a snowball, dodge a snowball, and then I'm gonna get my butt back in the house, because I ain't going down the hill. Because I go down the hill, I might be stuck down there. But we'll come back tonight. We'll talk a little bit more about what's going on in California, as well as hopefully your boy will still be alive, and all that. So hit the like button on the way out. Thank you so much to everybody who's helping me hit my goal of 50,000 subscribers by the end of April. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you're liking this commentary. I'm glad that you're liking this type of content. You find value in it. So because of that, I really appreciate y'all. So thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for subscribing. And I'll catch you all real soon. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.
Hit that like for deal with Christian. Yo, for deal with Christian. Smash that bell for the upsy. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for Deal Christian. For Deal Christian, smash that bell for DLC. Yo, smash it, just smash it. Hit that like for Deal Christian.